Of ChatGPT and the importance of being first to market with this AI product, because that was a huge move on huge volume, as Adair and Sharif were mentioning here, for Google this afternoon. Coming back in here a little bit right now, but if you missed it, Sam Altman coming out saying Monday's live event will not be A, ChatGPT 5, and B, anything to do with the search engine. So we talked about it a bit this morning if you're with us in the pre-market, the indication of which there was thought to be anyway, some sort of search product coming from OpenAI on Monday. Apparently not going to be the case. Again, that was from Sam Altman. So we'll see, again, Monday morning at 10 o'clock exactly what it is they do reveal. Again, not going to be ChatGPT 5. And it's not going to be anything to do with a search engine. So yeah, Google liking that to the tune of about $3, $3.50 anyway, straight to the upside. Bouncing right now, still negative on the session, but just retraced basically the entire day. And then some. Hope your Friday afternoon is off to a pretty good start here. We'll keep an eye on ChatGPT, but I mean, Google taking the overall, just having a look at the market here, Google taking the overall market on its back and marching it back towards positive territory. 0.16 right now for the NASDAQ, 0.07 for the S&P. That's about as mixed as you're going to see the S&P 500, and as a result, yep, it's pretty much dead flat right now. Tesla down here 2%. Some of the energy names getting hit a little bit. Oil down 1.2% for oil going into the weekend. XOM 0.6 standing out there. Google red, as we said, but trying to retrace some of the early declines. Apple under pressure as well there, 1%. To the downside, Tesla 2.25 right now, trying to get back towards day lows even for Tesla. It's been one of those days. There's a dollar kind of bouncing as we bounce off 105 once again for the DXY heading into the weekend. We were discussing a whole bunch of things. Google was actually conveniently top of the watch list this afternoon, or this morning as well, as we were discussing this OpenAI angle going into the weekend. Again, if you missed it or just joining a little late, Sam Altman just coming out saying that Monday's live event, again, 10 o'clock on Monday for OpenAI, will not be ChatGPT 5, and it will not be anything to do with search. So that's good news, guys, for Google.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're short Google, though, on that news. That was funny because we weren't here. We were getting ready to rock and roll. And well, we were here. We came back. Me and Brenda were in the podcast room, and then all of a sudden it was like, I heard Obi say, Google's flying or blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it was like, boom, to the upside. And then we heard a little story about that ChatGPT. And all of a sudden I was just waiting for that sort of first exhaustion candle, like we talked about that. There it is up there, that wick top up to 170. I shorted the break back down below 169.50. We're now out of 60% of this. Let's see if it wants to work back up against, my stop was 75. So we've already taken almost, where are we short there? 40s. So that was out at 75. So big move there. Apple. Okay. So it's just Apple's going to revamp Siri to get ready for AI. It's just that.
It's not moving. Google's moving way.
Yeah, that was just what we heard there. Yeah, Google moving a lot more. We're still 30 pennies in the money, but we did short the TQs as well. We've been banking out on that all afternoon, as we've talked about on the midday. But with this Google news, Apple not moving around, but there it is right here. Just heard something about revamping Siri. So it's just, I think we know that, but.
Well, it makes some sense. Look, we've had people say, do you use stop orders? Is it a good idea to use stop orders? I think it's a necessary thing to use stop orders. I'm going to show you a very good example of why it's a good idea to use stop orders. Maybe the best possible reason why you should use stop orders. Because ask yourself what would have happened if I didn't have a stop order in Google. It's that simple. I really don't care how bad your executions are every now and then. To not have one there is going to be disastrous. Now, I was in it, instantly out when the news hit. I didn't do anything until VWAP. I sat back down at the desk and it was kind of already to the upside. I'm like, that's what protected me. And then just saw it bouncing off of VWAP. I had a long, and then when it broke this little wick in here, this is a 3-minute chart, so I had a long into the top, and then when it broke the top, I went long again and scalped it to this high. I was able to sort of get back what we lost in there. But good news for Google. I think this afternoon it's going to be the volume leader. There's no question about it. The futures were very, very sideways this afternoon. At lunchtime, it was almost ridiculously so. So you got to go to what is moving. I do have a position from earlier in Intel, a newer one in AMD, and then some lunchtime trading in Novavax. But Google, if it gets back to VWAP, I do like VWAP. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get that. It could just be the previous high to work off of here. And 170 up top. 170 up top does look like a huge level.
I punch long on Apple only because, like, I don't know. I like this AI talk. I mean, 180, 250, what am I going to do? Wait for that to come through? I mean, I kind of like the 200 period anyways on Apple. So I'm long right now. I took some 67s. We'll see if we get something out upside. But right now, the only story that I have is revamping Siri to catch up with all the other chatbots that are out there.
Makes sense.
I mean, that's going to be there. That's an expense to do that. We already know that they're sort of putting some money into AI. We're expecting, I put on the note today on the sticky note that we actually wanted Apple long at 184, and we'll talk about that. It is my worst. No, AMD's my worst stock today, but again, we'll go long here, testing the waters. I did cover a little bit more TQQ as well because I didn't want to go long Apple and short the market. That wouldn't make much sense. But here's Apple just dancing around a little bit of a position right now just to see if we can get going. Apple 182.50. I don't think that'll be my punch out area, but we'll take a few more down there, and then I'll work this out as we go. I don't want to just punch out immediately in case there's more to this story than 10 cents. So.
You know what's hilarious?
182.40, maybe I'll give it up. Yeah.
As you were talking about Apple, I pull up my level 2, I'm going to call up Apple.
Yeah.
And then you said the Siri story, and of course, I typed in Siri, and I'm like, what is even going on with this stock? What happened?
Stock.
Oh no, did Apple go to $3? Sirius satellite radio is not having a good day, but it doesn't really matter. Apple back in here, if it gets to, look, I like this lower high. I was actually in this one, but it was a 5-cent hit. It doesn't really matter. But stop orders, stop orders, stop orders. 182.5, I like that as well. Obviously, if the market breaks higher, I think you put it on the back of both Google if it can get back to that previous high, and then Apple, resistance turning into support. Let's go. And, it's interesting. That's hilarious. Like, the next topic is like semis along. Well, about that, yeah, the answer was no, by the way.
AMD's still at 150.
Spoiler alert,
it's still at 152.
Did that ask?
I think.
Yeah, let's touch on it. I mean, out of the gate, NVDA at least had a huge move, going 900 all the way up to 915, still positive on the session. But we came in this morning, and the gap to the upside was there across the board. A number of positive notes around this group this morning. There wasn't anything significant outside of these TSM numbers that came out, but the entire group benefiting here.
Yeah, Brendo, they talked about their April results, and it was big move, 59.6% year-over-year increase versus April 2023. Good look there. They saw the same amount of revenue come in, though, but profitability surged. They are also announcing a dividend here for the first quarter. It's going to be 4 new Taiwanese dollars per share.
I'm trying to figure it. Well, okay, whatever. Someone else can do the math. What the yield is on.
I don't even know what a Taiwanese dollar is.
That's where my brain went first. Like, well, so what's the yield on that? Like, it's probably really tiny, but it doesn't matter. So, AMD. AMD. Wow, okay. Like, can't even believe that there was a breakout trade above $155 at one point today. It seems a little bit ridiculous that that's true, but it was true. It got to 56. Tried to reload a VWAP. Flunk. And then 82. Wax poetic enough about that level. 82 was a big one. Support from yesterday. It attempted a bounce. Had at least a couple of opportunities there where it did look pretty good, and then it just fell apart. I shorted all of the lower highs, actually made some back, but the way it's going, I've shorted this level here, 152.5, 3 times. Each time it's gone no more than 20, 30 cents. And when I talk about the lunchtime, I mean, being a really tight range, this is one of those stocks. You're making higher lows now. If it breaks out this high, I think I step away from AMD. It was just completely the wrong way today. It is what it is. Like, sometimes that's just how it's going to be. I am still in an Intel from earlier. It's down around the $30 level. Speaking of which, 30 is a big psychological level. Well, not psychological. It's like yesterday's afternoon high, and it's a round number, and it's Friday. Forget about psychological level. It's Friday. It's $30. So if it gets down there, I just realized I didn't have a bid. I thought I was bidding down at 3s. I'll go ahead and do that now. But I'll be out of that if it hits $30. and then work on the next. I think it's going to be a Google and Apple afternoon.
I forgot, we actually went into SMH, and I actually forgot about this, to be honest with you, that we were still in this as we revamp our positions right now. And Apple, so far so good here, as we'll buy some of that. We'll buy some of that. We're in dimes right now. But that SMH trade was pretty good. We shorted SMH on the 50-period moving average there, 223.26. Got out there at 222.80, so that's 50, 60 pennies. Looks like we're trying to take VWAP right now, so let's put an out. I was going to wait for a much different level there on all of this, but now let's just get that out in case we start to go back up to the upside. 223.67 break. We'll get out of that one. And then Google, good. I mean, I'm almost out, so we're out of 80% of this. So far so good on Google. Spin it again, adding to our sort of cash position there on Google, adding that to the top. And then the other one that we have is Apple. Let's go. Here we go. All right, we're juiced up right now on Apple as we continue to go on. I mean, I'm more of an orange juice guy for breakfast than an Apple guy. What about you, Neil?
You know what? This is weird, but I actually mix them together. If I have a choice, if they have
Honestly?
both, if we have both of them,
Mix? So swamp water.
I literally mix Apple. No, I'm not making this up. I've been doing it.
I'm
since I
not
was
saying
a
you're
kid.
making it up.
If I have to choose, and look, if we only have one, they're great. I probably go orange juice most times. But if there's both, I'm having apple juice and orange juice together. It's delicious. If you've never tried it,
I've never tried
just do it
swamp
once.
breakfast water.
Just do it once. You'll enjoy it.
Okay, I will. Maybe I will try that.
And you know what?
Let us know in the chat. I've never heard of that.
Pineapple's okay too, Ram. I don't have an issue with
There's
that.
not Ram. I gave two options. Like, we can't be like, oh, you know, like, I don't like coffee. Oh, but I love Frappuccino, mocha, latte, this and that. I'm liking pineapple juice.
Fracca what? Frappuccino,
Exactly.
mocha.
Exactly.
Huh?
That's my point. All right, back over to the desk. What are you guys, orange juice or Apple fans? Let me guess, mango?
I'm an orange juice guy.
50-50.
You can go either way, huh?
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Apple juice.
Apple pie
That wins.
sold.
That wins.
Orange juice,
I have one every morning.
Really?
Yeah, because of the vitamin C. That's really the only reason.
Yeah, good for you. You had that Apple story just real quick, if anyone was wondering.
Yeah, the New York Times really dropping this over here, guys, basically saying that they are going to revamp Siri. This was decided last year, according to this article over here, basically saying that they're just looking to bring it in line with the new assistant. Anybody who's used Siri, like myself on my iPhone, knows that it's quite dated in its abilities and definitely not up to speed with any of these new larger language models, Brendo.
Yeah, there we go. Let's talk Tesla here real quick. There's this note on further investment going into their superchargers this morning. If you're with us pre-market, we touched on it. Yeah, it's been, I mean, downside all day ever since. 168 comes and goes a couple times. We're back to the upside right now. Actually, a decent reversal here for Tesla.
Yeah, at midday, Brenda, we got some more data there coming out of Germany, basically saying that there were more protests at the Gigafactory, and Elon took to X to say, why aren't these people in jail? So he letting us know exactly how he feels there. We looked at it midday. Didn't really move on the news, though, but new headline.
Yes, sir. And this segment and that move in Tesla brought to you by Blue Chew. Guys, remember when the good old days? When you were always ready to go? Well, those days don't have to be over. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in a convenient, chewable tablet and at a fraction of the cost. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and you'll receive your prescription discreetly delivered to your door within days. No awkward doctor's visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and shipped directly to you. And we've got a special deal for you. Try Blue Chew free when you use the promo code TraderTV at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. Visit bluechew.com, promo code TraderTV.live. I finally get a chance to do it. That's what's up. And on top of that, Tesla didn't have his Blue Chew today.
I mean, we didn't have our Blue Chew either, and we chewed the living you-know-what out of this stock. This is your number one P&L name on the show today. It's not a firm. It's not Intel. It's nothing other than Tesla. And we had it, and we had it good. So right there, that is sirens up. It's the short. It's your sticky note trade, and it was a monster. I still remain short Tesla. As long as we're under 180, I've been writing this note all week. We finally have it. Today is the day. Thank you, Tesla. My number one, probably my number one stock on the week, even just after this trade. So good job there for Tesla. We'll continue to look for the shorts, and hopefully they'll print out. So I'm not in anything right now. We covered right there on a little bit of a bounce up. We covered right here at 168.66. So if you guys are here for these kind of winners, that's $4. So boom to the downside. We took some out at 170. Today is another day and another great day for trading Tesla to the south side.
Boom.
That's it.
That's it. Boom. No, seriously.
All right, guys, Brendo is without a mic, so I'll take over for here. We're going to talk about Unity next. Unity reported overnight, and, it was a bit of a miss there. Their gap loss of 75 cents per share, missing the street consensus of 65. Also, revenue a little bit higher than expected, 460 million. The street was looking for 431. The guidance was also a little interesting here. They guided lower than the street was expecting, which probably caused the sell-off about 6 to 7% lower than estimates.
Can anyone get their stuff together around here? We'll go.
Usually it's us.
Yeah, we have a reloaded. Yeah. It's nice. I think his mic completely failed over there.
Oh, yeah, that's probably what happened.
The podcast room is real nice, man. We got those podcast mics. We got like the mood lighting and everything. It's real nice. Okay, Apple. Okay, we reloaded right there with Apple. Hello. We always get it from Adara, all the credit for being the scalper that sometimes we are. And there it is right there again, Adara. This is what we're talking about. You buy the bottoms and you sell the tops. But where will the top be for Apple? Nobody knows, which is why we're talking about Unity right now. All right, so no trade for me on Unity. I didn't even look at it, but I will look at it right now just to talk about the only strategy that I would ever use before I zoom this back out. Everybody knows it that watches the show, because I talk about it all the time, and that is a retracement to VWAP. So let me just open this up, and I haven't looked at Unity once yet. Let's see, whoopsies, let's see what that trade would have brought you today. So, again, right off the open, pretty choppy right there. I don't think you would really play off VWAP here because, again, you're coming in, you're flat on the day with this open, right? You're rating it nice out for Apple. Props up on that one. All right, so then it fades back in. I don't think you short it right there. If there's any kind of a play, once you realize that you're negative and you're trying to break out through yesterday's bottom of 22.75, that was probably the only trade that I could see from Unity today would be a break of yesterday's sort of bottom that they made on earnings in and around 22.50 or so. Or we sometimes talk about a pre-market breakdown. So that would have been that 23.50.
Yeah, that would have worked.
But there it goes. So you didn't really retest VWAP. Too early of a retest up there. So yeah, pre-market low break or yesterday's earnings bottom break. So Unity, good stock, but I got my mind on the money right now, and that's with Apple as we continue to climb a little bit higher. They can't talk about AI and the stock doesn't move, right? If that's the case, then maybe we're not super excited about WWDC, but let's wait to see what winds up happening right here. BTC, Neil, 60, you can see at the bottom right there.
I know it's close.
Or left.
It actually did bounce off once. We'll get to that in a second. The only thing I'll say about Unity is give it a couple of days, and then $21 on the daily chart is a monster. Like, look at the volume that went off when it dipped and ripped off of 21. That's the biggest volume that the stock has seen in the last 2 years, was the $21 level. So you're $1 away. It could obviously get there next week. Let it settle down, give it a day or two, and if it's bouncing off 21, I think there could be something for Unity. But let's get to crypto, because it's like we said, like Semi's a long crypto breakout. It's like almost, it ended up the other way. And similar thing for Mara and BTC in general.
All right, guys, crypto selling off midday, trying to hold above 60,000 now. You'll recall CleanSpark and Mara both reported yesterday, and both are red today. Mara sold off aggressively, coming down 11%, currently trading 9.17. CleanSpark didn't fare much better, 2.75% to the downside, guys, on the back of earnings. Any look on any of these mining names?
Trade on Mara when it busted $18. That was pretty much it. Like, it was stair step down the entire way. Their earnings, I mean, they beat on like the old fake EPS, and then the GAAP EPS was actually no good. So that's why you had a little confusion in the aftermarket show. That's what we were discussing with Adara last night. It's like, whoa, that was a big EPS beat, adjusted EPS, and they figured it out, and then it just dumped. So it broke 18 in earnest here. I had it to 75. I then trailed back out at 70. It's still barcoding at 17.5. However, BTC, and it might get there again, Bitcoin has tagged first time like 60,280, and then now 60,200, or maybe like 180. Very, very close to this 60K level. I think you could see that little, pump down if it can wick the 60,000 level. Sometimes you get a nice little retracement trade. So that should be on watch for this afternoon. It's sort of an obvious level. I mean, 60,000, don't have to tell you guys it's a big level there on BTC.
We were looking at Coinbase before. All right. I was looking at a video of my daughter playing hockey. Okay. What I wanted to get at was this. So just to look, all right, I mean, Apple's still trying to go. It's only at 75. Let's just refresh this. It's been a relatively uneventful week here for Bitcoin, but breaking 60,000 and staying under there over the weekend, it's not going to be great. So let's see if we can hold it. Obviously, we don't want to see that 53, 54 area because, again, that's another 10% down. That would suck to have that happen. But a pretty muted week overall. We got Solana up a little bit, Dogecoin up a little bit. Other than that, Ethereum down 6. We had Brian Shannon come on the show and talk about Ethereum being potentially underpriced because it'll have to get turned into, if it does get turned into, a ETF. So there was some discussions there as well. This is what my trade looks like right now. I'm just going to hold. Like, I have an offer at 85, which is breaking out through the top here for Apple. So if we can get that, great. And then we're into the 90s, and after that, hopefully it's smooth sailing back to where we were long earlier. So we actually got out of the way of Apple. We were pretty lucky understanding that it wasn't trading properly. So Apple was a slight hit. Our big one is AMD that we're down on here today. So, and it's just funny that we wrote down 152. Looks like 151.50 was the jam. So the low of the day, 151.36. This is the biggest loser for me here today, was just fighting with it here at 152 and eventually losing. High of the day, 152.50. This could be a play right here too, but I'm going bullish. I'm Apple long. And by the way, look what secretly just happened, guys. It's Google, and we're in another one right there. That's a hot dog winner right there for Google. Man, we're trading news real well, man. We're honestly, confidence level, I keep saying this, is getting higher and higher with every single day. I mean, look at this, hold all the way back in there for Google on that news. So we'll play Apple long on AI news, Google short on AI news, and we strike again right here.
Yeah, down goes Google, although it's still kind of higher, but that's VWAP, the blue line, I think, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's down 1%.
So like 50 cents away from VWAP. I mean, obviously, in the afternoon, I mean, if it's good news, I think a VWAP retracement makes sense for Alphabet. Like, that's where I'll be waiting. If it bounces there, I think it'll go into the long. You'll see I'm no longer in Intel because it hit 30 bucks, 30.01. I'm just going to get out of that. And then Novavax. If you remember Novavax, they're absolutely just a huge reversal off the $10 level. So I was long off 10 several times looking for it to really go. Obviously, just never really went, stair step down. Shorted it. I had it short at 25s, and then I reloaded it short at 9s, looking for a pop down in here. It's at like 893. If it breaks the evens, I think I just want to jump out of this one. But the next play, I think, Google off of VWAP with the good news. It's consolidating a little bit higher. There's always a chance it could just be here. But, why not let it get down into VWAP? That makes the most sense to me down here. Let us know if there's anything you guys are looking at. But at this point, I mean, Apple's moving around and doing the actual volume. Alphabet, I think that makes a lot of sense off VWAP. I checked Microsoft to see, if Microsoft was sort of doing anything off of that GPT news. And the answer was not really. Like there's some volume in there that came in, but then immediately died down, and it's gone back to just being boringly, I don't know, because it is grinding higher. So it's not bad. Microsoft's one of the strongest stocks out there, but all of a sudden it's not moving at all. So a little bit of a tight range there. I think it could start to pick up. Eyes on Bitcoin, but it doesn't seem to want to actually get to 60,000. It just wants to hold underneath.
All right, we have a new position. Let me know if we have to go back to those guys.
I think we're done.
So I just shorted the TQs again. So we got out. TQs is my Tesla's my number one name. Sorry, this is my number two name. We're going to go back into it right now against VWAP. I got out of it on purpose, thinking, so we just got out for flat. We shorted it. We covered as soon as we saw that Apple news. But now we've already made that money on Apple. We're still in it, but we've made good money and not getting back into it. So I'm going to go short against VWAP right now. Double the fill, double your pleasure, double the fun. It's triple the triple Qs to the downside right now. So we'll short that right here. Dollar in the money on Google. We just put in this trade on the TQs. It's a short the market kind of day for me. Although, I mean, it hasn't done anything. It's just we're under VWAP, so we're going to choose short for now. And then if violence isn't the right way, then we'll go peacefully and try to flip over to some longs. But here we go. Nice downside move in the triple Qs. Again, another big potential afternoon here. Let's see if we can make some money one more time. Oh yeah, that's right.
He's on again.
Kashkari's on again. Man, does this guy know that I'm going back live or something? Like, I know I had my beef with him this morning, but here we go. Neil Kashkari is back in the building. So let's start saying some negativity here, my guy.
He did.
Well,
the bar is high.
does.
The bar is high for another rate hike, but can't rule it out, he says. So they say the man is a bit of a hawk, and there he goes again. I mean, that's hawkish, and that's bad for the markets. But I don't think they're actually going to raise, not the way that the labor market's going. Let's be real for a second. One other one for you guys. We didn't really go over everything, but remember Palantir held on to that 21 yesterday? Well, it didn't hold on to 21 today. And it's down 2.5%. There you go, looking awfully weak. It would normally be, hey, let's look for a VWAP retracement, but it's got a double bottom at $20.50. And then let's go to the 15-minute. You can see it on the daily chart, but it gets gap underneath here. There you go, like there's that little wick under here. So it's breaking down underneath what was last month's low, and if it fails 2050, there's a bit of a void in here on Palantir. So eyeballs over to them. It was a successful bounce the first time through, the second time obviously not, and then it's just been all down since. So if Kashkari does this thing, look for Palantir, $20.50, double bottom, flat bottom break is what I'm looking for on PLTR. Still no Google VWAP, but I think it's, like let it get there. It'll get there eventually. Every time I type in the symbol, the first thing that comes up is NZ, not NQ. I don't know why. But 168.20 would be that level. So it's getting pretty close. It's just about being patient for it. If I'm looking for a VWAP or trace, let it get to VWAP is the simple answer.
Yeah, I mean, if we get VWAP, we're already in the money on this Google $1. So hopefully it will come back in and print all the way down there. So we'll still hold on to it. I mean, we've got everything short except for Apple, which we have the long. And we just took some more out on Apple. We're 20 cents in the money on Apple. We're $1 in the money on Google. We're flat on SMH. And we're 5-6 cents in the money here on the NASDAQ, which I'm hoping gets its home a little bit lower. So, all right, what else? Oh, Drew Longworth. What's up, Drew Longworth? So this is the beauty of often imitated and never duplicated. Look, I mean, like I said there, I was very, very positive. I even covered my TQs there because I thought this Apple news was going to start to go. So have the abilities, and it might still go. We're still long Apple. We're banking out on it. But at the same time, I just thought this would have created much more of a market ripping situation than it has. So for me, I will take another piece out here at 73 if we can, take 20 more cents on Apple, and just understand that once the news is out there and it doesn't react, Sure, maybe it gets picked up by like a major media, but it would already been there. It's Apple. So I'm fine with just sort of continuing the afternoon sort of shrug off that this market. Did we just get those 74s there? No, okay. Oh, yes, we did. Sorry, we're way at no, we did not. Hold on a second. Let me see if we did.
Right there now.
Oh, we got 73. Sorry, we got filled at 73. It wasn't 74. That's why. My next order is 79, so that did not get filled. But again, have the ability to sort of switch it up. I don't know. You know, the TQs are right here at VWAP. We've been going short them. I just think for risk to reward, if the market does tank here, I'm in 5 cents. My out is 10 cents from here. So you can almost put on as many shares as you want, 1,000 shares, whatever. It's 10 cents worth of risk. So I'm fine with this position. Let's see if it sings into the close. I'm going to go short right now as we're out of basically 80% of our Apple trade just scalping. So again, we know what we are and what we do, and that is put numbers up. Google right there is $1 in the money, and I'm sort of ho-humming it. So let's wait to see what happens. And there's the short and the Qs trying to pay off here 10 cents.
Yeah, we just lost what was the previous top on the afternoon on the NASDAQ, like just now. So it looks like we are failing this. Well, I mean, it hasn't failed yet, but we are failing this little bit of a top breakout that was attempted. And remember, this wasn't happening until you had the Google reversal and then you had the Apple news, and that was causing it to maybe break out of the range. Now you're just right back into what was happening. It wasn't even just lunchtime. It's the entire morning. The second half of the morning was a very, very tight range. Just got 75s on NVAC, so it was back up in the 9 range. We had 895. It was at 895 for a while. I'm going to try to reload it now. We just got some out there. We're risking up to 9 even. So if it gets 1s, 2s, 3s, we're instantly out. And then we're just scalping 20 cents and then holding some for a push further down. Like if this tries to fill in the gap further, $8 makes sense. That could easily happen, and we're risking $9, so I think it's going to make a lot of sense there. Let's see what else we got going on. Careful, it's Friday, says Asta. I don't know, just because it's Friday doesn't mean the market has to go up. It can. You might hope it does, but it doesn't mean it has to happen. I can tell you what is bouncing. Yeah, IBIT is continuing to go. The bounce off 60,000 might have already happened. So that might not be available unless there's some kind of a serious push down again. Now 3 times you've bounced down there. It might have to take something drastic happening in this market a little bit to get Bitcoin back down to 60,000. I am just looking for a simple reversal trade there. Like bounce, break it by a small amount, get it right back through. But until that happens, we're just going to have to back off of it. So we're short AMD from earlier. I did try to reload it this last time. I guess I didn't build it here, but it is what it is. We just got NVAX. We're short AMD, and we'll just hang on. Working in the money here. What are you going to do?
Man, I am loving Fridays right now as we just sit back and relax and chill out. We've got our hoodie on. We've got our hat. Yeah, man. Look, we talk about this. When you have a plan, this is what you do. You put your orders out. The thing is, if I start hitting keys, then I'll start getting out. I mean, the market absolutely went to the downside. So we gave you, so that's the TQs is going to the downside right now. Our SMH is now 30 cents in the money as that's going back down to the downside. We talked about where our outs were. Our out was 60 there. It almost was in there, so it didn't come out. Then we talked about why we're going long Apple. That's still, like, the fact that we have 4 winners on right now, and they're all pretty decent sizes and pretty decent moves on the names is what I mean. So we'll have to wait to see what happens now. Google is that official dollar club. I mean, what else? What am I supposed to do? Just let's still play short. We've talked about that. Down to 18.2 again. I think we can get there. We're preferring the short, so I'm short. And that's that. Pretty simple stuff, man. We're long Apple 182.54. Let me take another piece out. So, all right. Yeah, what else we want to talk about right now? Busy weekend. Oh, Meta. We can look for some more trades. If there's anything you guys want to talk about in the chats, fire me off some interesting questions. Bears versus Bulls. If anybody fires off anything interesting to ask Adara, let's get that going immediately. And we're going to have a fun Q&A on the after-market show today.
I have one because I was talking to... We're having a discussion about the stocks she was trading yesterday, in the afternoon, and you guys both scalp trade. So she she likes to scalp trade. Obviously, you scalp trade as well. And what I wanted to know from her, I mean, I
feel like everybody here scalp trades. I might be the one that holds things the longest.
Well, I think, everyone does scalp trade, but I think everyone has like a different
Hey, I'll take it,
definition of it. But it was more along the lines of, is there a preferred price range? I know for her, specifically, she's gone from things like Tesla, and when she was in simulator, like Eli Lilly, which is like a super expensive stock, and then yesterday trading something like a Roblox, which is a different price level. She's in the experimentation stage. So I'm curious as to what she's learning about scalping different types of different price stocks, because that can be a big thing for when you're starting out. Like most people, a lot of people might stay in like, oh, I'm only trading stocks between $10 and $20. I remember in my trainee group, it was literally divided into two groups. There was the people that were trading the $30 to $50 stocks, and the guys that were trading the $1 to $5 stocks. And that's all you looked at. And that was pretty much the idea, was to get really comfortable within that range. And I'm not saying that's what she should do. It's just, I find it interesting because she's early in her journey. And it's a good thing to think about.
I appreciate you, Flame Boy, out there right now. No matter how early Adara is in her journey, I mean, she's basically equal with pretty much every single person in this office as they all go for that journey to become a graduated trader. So let's hope that every single person around here has great success leading into the middle of the year as we get into May right now. So, again, it's kind of like a journey that I think is like a 6-month journey. Make it or break it, figure it out, heading into halfway through, very important times for traders. But hey, when you're here and we're like, oh my God, this guy's just chilling. I wonder why we would just be chilling. I mean, there's the TQQs. Here's a nice move to the downside. We told you how comfortable we are now trading the futures. We just shorted this thing, and now this is 20 pennies in the money. Google's $1 in the money. Apple's in the money to the long side, and we talked about why we like that. And then SMH is to the downside, where we've already taken 50 cents, now back in another 35 cents. We have 4 positions on, and they're all working for us. So we don't want to get like too excited here. So let's just keep on taking some out. If this is the afternoon of making money, doing it this way, then we'll do that. Let's try to hold on in case the market does fall down here into the end of the day. So yeah, I can just ask that question to Adara right now. Yo, Adara. Hi. All right. Neil wants to know, is there a price range of stocks potentially that you are more comfortable trading in?
That's a really good question. I think today I went back to Tesla and AMD, so like older ones. I think for me, as long as it has something I like and I feel comfortable with the spread that I'm able to get in and out, and it's a level that I really, really appreciate, I'm okay with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Spread makes sense. That's actually really important because I've heard people ask us all the time. They're like, hey, look at that stock. It'd be like $1 stock, and it's got like a 10-cent spread or a 5-cent spread, and it's only $1. And that is just vast. That trades like SMCI. Like it's just bouncing around 5% here, 2% there, which is really difficult if you're trading $1 stock. But if you've got like a 1-2 cent spread, it's just too much if it's low priced. It should always be 1 cent. And if you're looking at something like an NVIDIA and it's got a 10-cent spread, not a big deal. It's all relative when it comes down to it. So, you have to find your level of comfort zone. Liquidity does matter. Ooh, Renata mentioning Reddit's still strong. Kind of slept. Keep forgetting about Reddit. Oh,
I had that $50 bot.
There it is.
To that now.
What's that VWAP? Actually, I thought this was, for some reason, thought maybe it was a little bit higher than this.
Well, Katina Capital put the buy on this at 50, so right now we're in 6%. Yeah, Renata. I mean, I like the name. I feel like it's done well. But again, like you're just at that point right now. If you like it for a day trade, yeah. I mean, the volumes here right now, it's not like it's super died down. There has been some nice volume spikes on Reddit, so there's definitely some interest here. The only problem for me is you're at VWAP and already up 6%. If we were up here and fell back into VWAP, then I could feel like a buy. But the fact that we're just dancing around here right now, for me, leaves me as a no-fly zone for this. But if you can get into some levels, which isn't that far away, a drop down in of $1 or so into 52, then I feel like you have some nice little areas there. I'm looking short, so I feel like I've described that. So for me, I think there is an opportunity there for Reddit. I'd rather Reddit and forget it at these levels. So we'll wait to see if there's anything there. Again, the biggest trade of the day is now going to be the TQs. Largest P&L of the day is on the TQQs. But this Tesla trade, again, would love to get back into the short on this as well. But we need to play off some key levels. So right now you are, look at this, the 200 period is like right there. So we did break it for a minute. So I almost feel like these levels are pretty nice. 169.25, maybe for a short, and then you have a little bit of VWAP protection up there at 169.50. So that, or whatever that price is, 70s, you can find VWAP. It's a very, very simple one to add to your charts. So anyways, TQs, we're just gonna wait for that. It's been really chilled out. No one's putting anything in the chat, so I almost feel like I'm probably even
I see ARM 105.
I'm even in the wrong chat here.
About there. Uber making a good move. Oh, someone had that BTC. Good look. Havana Woody.
What's he say?
Yeah, it was that BTC 60,000 bounce. It happened a couple times. It was a pretty good level. And the weather. And the greatest thing about it is you got IBIT now. So, or I mean, you can trade Look, you can trade any one of the ETFs. It doesn't really matter. But IBIT, I just say because it does the best volume. So it's a great vehicle if you don't have access to trade spot Bitcoin. Then that's how you can express your trade. LIDR apparently making some moves. I don't know, Intel's testing 30 but not breaking. Intel just tagged 30, went to 99, and is right back to 30. And the volume, look at the volume, or lack thereof, I think is a better way to put it. Lack thereof of volume on a break of 30 even. So there's not much happening there. Like I said, I got out of it when it tagged the 30 level. Palantir's got about 3, maybe 400,000 on the bid here at that 2050 level. So, oh yeah, this is just like a stop order that sits in the book, so you can actually see that if it breaks down, I'm only crossing down a few pennies to get it. So if it breaks these orders at 2050, I'll go into the short and look for the breakdown trade there on PLTR. What else is going on here? What is the tap? Oh, LiDAR is halted. Oh, that's, okay, fine. There you go. 309. Now 298. All right, it's all over the place. 295. It's actually coming down now. So LIDR halted to the upside, up 136%. Halted at 284. The tap is now $2.96. This halted about 4 minutes ago. So 1 minute, it's going to be open. Oddly enough, I did not. Yeah, it just says circuit breaker. I haven't really seen news on it. But if we see something on the wire there for LIDR, we'll let you know. But good luck. Going to open up maybe 13, 14 cents if it were to open right now.
I adjusting my stop for Google. So some of you guys that were wondering that, we are still that dollar in the money, but we are right there. Look at the 50 period. So here we go. So, I mean, we'll use that now as our out. So 168. I put it at 75, but like right now it's at 65. So give it a little bit more love than that. So we'll give it just a couple more pennies. We only have 20% left. I don't advise like giving yourself this kind of slippage if you have like a full position and you're using different lines. Try to get at least half out or something like that if you still have a full position and it breaks through levels. This is why I will, have multiple outs on my trades because I'm never, super confident in like where the stock is. I'm always, when I'm in a stock, I like the position, so that's fine. But it's like, I don't know if we're gonna stop at VWAP or the 200. So on the way down, kind of try to let it ride and make sure we always take profits at past support areas. But this one just bounced off VWAP, and we've done that before. So again, in hopes that the market had tanked, we had hoped for a break. But now that it's not, we're gonna use the 50 period right now as an area to get out. So sometimes following your rules are good, and sometimes you just be careful with it. Shout out to Flameboy right there. I mean, I'm glad. I just made 320 on the TQs. All credit to you. So I just say credit to you, man. You face slapped that trade because you're the one that put it on. And all I said right here was, I hope my confidence helped you out on that trade. So shout out, get into our chat immediately and subscribe. The only way to get into the chat is by hitting like and subscribe to our chat immediately. And then Bears vs. Bulls will help us promote this as well. The Freedom and Wealth podcast with me and Mr. Wickens will be on a podcasting platform near you very, very soon. So make sure you hit that as we work on a brand new studio. And it's really, really nice and quiet.
It's swanky.
So yes, if you are looking for a mood, the new podcast room is exactly that. So I'm going to hit refresh. Let me see how many have done it so far today. All right, 251. So from 237 to 251. Hit like, hit subscribe. Go over there. The Freedom and Wealth podcast. Should be fun to do that. And then hopefully we'll do some more podcasts there. I think we could do a sports one. We could do many different ideas.
That would be a lot of fun because we ripped Sharif enough about it. But no, like we can.
Yeah, Sharif could do a footy.
Endless possibilities because you got football, then you got real football.
Yep.
And just by the way, let LiDAR open back up exactly where it said it was going to. So it said 95. It actually opened at 95. Tried to break three times, 4 times now, back and forth. Let me be careful here. It's the volume's starting to run down. If you cannot hold this halt price and it were to break back under, you could be back down pretty fast. And the velocity of this is really tapered off. Generally speaking, if a stock is going to go halt, breakout, and then go back to the upside, you'd be pressing a little bit higher here. There's a lot of sellers on the level too. Unfortunately for this one. Palantir still doesn't want to break. It's at 53, doesn't want to break that 50 level, but there's plenty of time. It's like an hour and 15 minutes to go. Like Palantir could sit here for a while. If anything, it could just be consolidating down there for a potential breakdown. Just has to happen at this point. NVAX kind of creeping back up here, but still no reload. Every time it kind of barcodes off 9, drops in here, prints you some in the 70s, and comes back and barcodes it at 90, or not 9. 90s, in front of 9 even, so I'm trying to get that reload on Novavax. Google did make a nice little tap of VWAP, now trying to put in the higher low. It's going to come in here again. Once it trying to put in the higher low, once I see it put in the higher low, I'm going to go for the long into VWAP on this one. And if it is a slow market, Rob EV, that just requires you to be patient, right? Like you sat there, I sat there in Novavax, it gave you 95s, it printed 70s, and then you just wait for the next opportunity. Like maybe we're going to get Google to bounce off VWAP for a lower high, and we'll grab that. Palantir could break down. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but you just have to be patient with it. That's all you got to do. And then when the level comes in, go for it. Nike, Hector E says. All these retail names, man, it's been bad. And the labor market being under pressure, that's not good either. So you look at something like, and I recently just bought Lululemon for the first time ever. I saw it down so much. I'm like, oh, I like this stock. I've wanted the dollar cost average in. Daily chart not going there for Nike. It's on the lows. These are like penalty blocks. I don't know if I see a trade in here, but you got the 90 level. Where's my daily? Let me just pull up trade ideas for you there, because at least that'll come in. You are right on the bottoms in the daily, and it'll be right there at the 90 level. Then you got maybe like $89. The trend is just so bad in this stock to the downside that it feels like it's on a collision course retesting every single one of these names. And as much as I like Lululemon, but they're all under so much pressure, and the more cracks that you have in the labor market, the trend is your friend. I like this when they break trend back to the upside. If you're dollar cost averaging, who cares? Because you're going to hold it forever, and you're just going to buy. Like if you like it, you buy once a quarter, the same amount, so you get more as the price goes down. But for an actual trade, I like it when they start rounding up and then you get it on the breakout. I always find that more appealing.
Yeah, I feel like Google went back into the dollar range, so that was a good one. The one name that I haven't bought, and I'll keep thinking I want to do it, is Walmart, but it's just like really consolidating. I want to find out, because their earnings, retail is coming up, so hold on a second. Yeah, exactly. So I think this is all next week. So May 16th, yeah. So, like part of me wants to buy Walmart here. I mean, good. Where's their EPS? EPS growth 4%. Okay, 4 cents. Sorry. Cash 10 billion. Not bad. Estimated quarterly EPS growth down 17 cents. So maybe they're not expecting too much moving into the quarter here, as we do get some bad retail. I mean, we've talked about some of the retail hasn't been great. Neil just highlighted a couple of those names. But Walmart, again, it doesn't look great on our charts because we have that huge dip down from the daily. But as you can see here, really consolidating at $60. So I kind of want to be in it before the earnings call in case it's much better. But I don't know. In the face of weaker, I guess, higher rates and potentially a weaker consumer, there's a huge percentage now of Walmart customers that are now over the $100,000 mark there in annual household income, which is the first time ever for Walmart. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I almost feel like that's worse, good for them and worse for others. Again, you want to have customers with more higher disposable income. So that might be a good thing. But again, I don't know. I'm not sure if, like, I guess pilferage isn't that huge at Walmart's, but I don't really know the whole situation there. So I almost feel better missing it by a couple points and waiting, but I'm not in Walmart. That would be a name. And then the other one that I just, I'm already in. I mean, I'm already in Nike there. I'm not in Lulu. Well, I'm in Lulu from a million years ago. I haven't, but Costco just, I mean, every time they miss, you're just supposed to buy it. So Costco coming, I believe, next week as well. So I don't remember hearing about them anytime soon. COST coming through on May 30th. So we got 2 weeks
like not even
away or more than that for Costco. So, I mean, maybe if Walmart is weak, we can step into some Costco, but I don't know. They paid that special dividend. I mean, they're gonna be good.
I made the mistake with Costco of just being too patient with the dip buy. Like, it's just if you're going to dollar cost average. And like I said, it makes a leg down. Just buy 10% or 20% or whatever the initial number that you want. Just buy that amount wherever it happens to go, and then wait a quarter or whatever, and then just buy more. Like, just don't get cute if you want to be in it. Because there's a few names on this last little dip that I want to grab. Alphabet, I almost said Costco again because that's what's on our mind, just made a higher low like we were talking about. So I grabbed some here, ended up with 40, what did I get, 46s. I'm going to adjust the orders just by a hair. I ended up with 46s off this higher low, which was at 30s, like 32s or whatnot. So we're just going to scalp to here. If it breaks higher, look for 80s and then 69s, 2-set upside. Still have eyeballs. I have not reloaded Novavax. It's like close, but no cigar on NVX. Palantir's starting to break away, so that might not happen. And then Apple has a chance to get to VWAP. Just want to get that level 2 up there.
Apple has been...
Yeah, it's chilling out about 90s, and it's really close to making that last little punch into VWAP. I'm looking to get out at VWAP on Apple. But first things first, we're going to go Google 1, 2, 3 step into 69. If it breaks higher, we'll hold on to the last piece. And then got to watch out for AMD, because AMD is the closest one to breaking. Very, very tight range on AMD. Like I said, this will be the last time. Unless something drastic happens, I'd rather be reloading this if it breaks down and then goes lower highs. Lower highs would be so much more appealing instead of the same one over and over again in a tight range. I've seen AMD do this before, and the last time it did it, it ended up breaking up. I think it was actually just a couple of days ago.
I think a lot of us are sleeping on this move of Apple. I mean, when we sat back down here, I had that discussion with Drew in the chat about flipping from one spot to another spot, back and forth again, and there we go. So the market really doing nothing, and our long in the name Apple continues to get us some of that money back that we lost earlier. So far so good on that one. We did average back into our TQs. I mean, this is a trade that we've talked about wanting to do. The futures, the VWAP on the futures is just right here at 59.30s or so. So that's what we're going to wait for, a break upside there, right at VWAP. If the market's just, there's no news. Like, I'm sitting here waiting to see if anything's going to cross the line right now. We're here, we traded, I mean, we can't do any better than this. We've already talked about that sort of on Google. So I'm still going to wait for, I mean, we have $1 right now. I would love for this to go the other way. We almost got stopped out actually right here on Google. Our stop is 75, so we're getting pretty close to that right now. So this could be a problem. But if Google goes up, then hopefully also Apple goes up, but then our Qs would get squashed. So I'm just trying to play ranges right now. That's why we've emptied everything out. We have a small piece left off Google. I wish we had, of Apple. I wish we had more, but all these top outs are fine by me. I thought I had a 94, but I guess I didn't. So, and then the other one we have is Google, which we only have 20%. And then short on SMH, we talked about that out, and then short the triple Qs. Apple looks better than Meta, or Meta looks better than Apple, Paula. I mean, we can have
a beast.
I don't have a problem. The only thing about Meta was, why am I not long at 420 down there? So the other thing was here, does it, Paula? I mean, nothing looks better than Apple. I mean, if you're going to show me this, I don't think this looks better than Apple. So it doesn't even, not even really.
It's not really, Meta's really not moving right now.
Like it's, no, so.
Microsoft is the same way.
I guess depends where you're in at. Google's going to break a little bit higher here, which is fine. And by the way, there's the reload on our TQs again. I'm not just going to spin the money thing. You guys know what I'm doing. It's time just to put some orders out, scalp them out, and then just act like we've been here before, because we have. So There it is. Let's go to the downside. I mean, just a ho-hum. We short the top. It's right back to the 50-period moving average. It's just another day here. We'll continue to go short until something changes. So chilled out, relaxed. This is how we're trading.
Yeah, exactly. And you can make money both ways. Google just bounced. I was able to get that last little scalp. But shout out to you, D-Loaf. Appreciate you for the super chats. Plural, what is dead may never die, is what my soul whispered in my ear as it left my body as Shopify shareholder investor. That's the chart I have up. But you did send two. And the last one here, anchored shop TSX, anchored VWAPs from all-time high in market bottoms October 22nd, converging at about 75, gap fill 67. Are you missing some levels? I'm not going to sit here and say I have anchor VWAP chart here. We don't have it here at Real Trading. However, Shopify, it really did try to settle down after earnings. I was talking about give it a couple of days, and if it can hold the same lower high, that's incredibly bullish for a bit of a, even if it's just the range-bound trade and then maybe even a gap fill. You've seen a couple things do that. Unfortunately, Shop just gave it up and then lost that support at $60. There was right in here, which was important, which is $55 was resistance. Back then it was the 50 and 200. Does feel like it's headed down to that level. So the next leg down, I think 55, could easily come into play. I mean, levels like back into 67 seem like a pipe dream for Shopify. It just has not at all been good for them. Unfortunate as it is, but what can you do? I love Shopify as well. I still have some in my account. I'd have to double check. I don't think it's much. I didn't do well on it. I'm not going to pretend that I did, but I did dump. I sort of gave up on it. When I think I had lost. I had made money on it earlier, but then I lost way too much holding on to Shopify. You just got to give it up when it trends back down. We all saw what happened after that COVID bounce that everything got. So AMD just came back into the same part of the range here, so up to 152.50, back down into 152.25. I was mentioning that Alphabet was starting to go up there. We got the first leg. We're looking for that push into 169. I think I have 90s in there, and then we'll see how far that one can go. It wasn't exactly VWAP, but put in a higher low off of VWAP, and then we jumped in. Appreciate you, D-Loaf. Best of luck with Shopify. It's not looking good.
Yeah, Shopify. I mean, I still like the stock, but again, I feel like the NASDAQ could easily pull back from here, man. We've already broke this down. Like the S&P is 1% away from all-time highs. The NASDAQ, I think, is less than that. I mean, here's the triple Qs. Here's a daily chart. These are all-time highs, 450. So what is that, $8 on 440? I mean, you're percent away less than all-time highs. So, yeah. If your stock's not performing well right now, I agree. You might be in a little spot of trouble as, oh no, my girls are getting ready to go for PWHL tonight at Coca-Cola Coliseum there.
Which game?
It's game 2. It's only best of 5, so they'll be able to close them out right now. It's too bad Montreal lost last night. Okay, so in overtime, 2-1.
Wait, you want Montreal?
Yeah, we want Montreal. It'll be a wicked series.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, because of rivalry and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just more thinking we don't usually like Montreal. That's all.
Yeah. They have one of the best players in the world there, so it'll be fun to watch her, who my daughter, of course, has met. We've talked about that. All right, in and out of TQQs one more time there at 59.10. We're not out of it at all. We just took a bid. It went down there. I'm trying to scalp this thing out. I mean, if it works, it works. Nothing else really going on. If there's anything you guys want us to look at right now, let's do that. We could look at Affirm. Affirm was getting killed today, back down through that $33 mark. We didn't take it or anything like that.
8%?
Yeah, so a huge move down.
Oh,
I mean, we had the long yesterday at 33, and then we had mentioned it today to possibly look at it. We did not make our sticky note by any stretch of the imagination, but still a move nonetheless. Downside there for Affirm. And I would say, again, with the market kind of flat to up, this one getting killed, yeah, taking of the 200 on a retrace back, I actually do not mind that. That's 32.35. Maybe we take that if Affirm gets going. I don't mind that bid there at all, especially if it wants to get going. Take the 200, let it come all the way down, let it settle down, get all this sort of scared hands out, and then you have 31.50, 31s or so as a bottom there. So yeah, that's not bad, even for a swing trade. Back to the long side there for Affirm. Not a great report, obviously in danger if you get upgrades or downgrades. But for now, I don't mind that. I don't mind that play. Apple's still 30 cents in the money. That was another one for us. We could check in on my favorite Chinese ADR, happens to be Alibaba, and we will wait. The only one that I own and the only one that I ever really trade. I mean, again, a great one here It's just, this is what I mean. It's Friday afternoon. We'll have some fun here. We'll break down some ideas. I mean, this 79.85, look how good that level looks. But then if it hits it, do you want the long, right? So you got to sort of play with some momentum in some of these names, which is why we went over to Google, got out of that. That was a good winner. So put that on the board right when we came back today. We take that out, goes all the way down. Boom. Neil played the long as well on that. SMH is 12 cents. TQs is doing nothing. We can have a quick look at NVIDIA.
Oh, yeah.
And again, that was a VWAP up to 901, back down to 897. This is probably worth it because for me, at least I can get some juice on this. Because for me,
VWAP's at 901.
yeah, I don't really.
Oh, Neil.
I'll trade this with basically any number of shares, just a matter of having the opportunity. So this might give us one of the better ones, from 200 to VWAP to 200 to VWAP, something like that was what's been happening. So right now I prefer the short, but we got to wait for that 901 for NVIDIA. We're just in the market. I feel like that's the safest thing right now.
Barry just asked us if Neil was a buy. Not here to give financial advice, but the chart doesn't look like a buy at all. Unless you're really into like a really tight scalp trade where you're long at 505 and you give it to 5 even. Neo down 5% today into a pretty flattish market, right? Like the market's not doing a heck of a lot. Oh, sorry, it wasn't on this chart before. So down today and down in a big way. Just failed to break out at $6. Like look at the wick rejection of $6 and it's right back into 5. Then you throw the daily chart up. Looked like it was breaking out. It's about to hold at 50 periods. So I was saying from a technical standpoint, if you're long 5, the 50 periods at literally $4.92 or 93 cents. So like risk to reward, like that doesn't stink if you're just giving it a tight stop. But you know, like that's the kind of thing where it rejected. It tried to break up, hold a higher low. It's already rejecting there. You could do worse from a shot play standpoint, but the entire space is so. I'm talking about the EVs, and they're all just so. What's the word? Like it's so saturated. You just had Zeke today as well. Went with their IPO, so I think you're into a lot of these. And by the way, Zeke, that was the IPO today. The daily chart's going to be useless for it. It was wild off the open. After that, it was kind of boring. But yeah, just another name in the space. You got BYD, you got Liado. I mean, there's just a million names out there that Neil's going to have to compete with. Doesn't mean they can't survive. Doesn't mean they can't win. But until the chart shows you something more bullish, I'd rather participate. Like it was like with BABA. I didn't want BABA until it closed above like the 200 period moving average. I'm like, okay, like once it does that little round up, I'll just take it then because at least it's showing me something bullish. So that's what we did. Just got the next move up there on Google. It just took out 168.88. I like those 88s. The next high will be like this wick. Like it really rejected at 169.40. Like that's the price Sean had, right? Like it comes into here, and when you see that wick, the volume really is more at the 50 level, if anything. Everything up there is like nothing, and then the real actual volume's there. So the resistance level isn't the wick high. It's kind of obvious, but the resistance is down here at like 40 even on Alphabet, at least in my opinion.
All right. I mean, look what we just did right there on the TQs. So there's the short, there's the out. We sit there, we get that 05 fill. So again, just scalping this market and hoping for a little bit more. 10% of your portfolio in Tesla. I mean, probably a lot of people have a lot more in that, so I don't think it's that crazy. Let's go Starbucks. Yeah, okay. I mean, let's go something that's moving, that's for sure. All right, yeah. Okay, finally. So something that's moving a little bit right now. Bounced perfectly off VWAP. Wow, what a great trade that would have been, noticing that at 2 o'clock. And now trying to take out these tops. I think this is almost a fade right now on Starbucks. Starbucks up 0.62. Anything that's moving like this, I don't mind hitting this top and trying to fade it. What is that? 76.30? It's 70. Okay, well, we're just here right now. We could try it. I mean, we could put on a short now. Yeah, I don't mind that Starbucks. What position are you guys in? How much do I pay in fees today? Today, $18. Good question. So we get most of my fills are, so all of these I'm actually getting paid to make. Every single one of these. So I don't pay anything to execute on this, except for when I get stopped out and I have to punch out. So like right there, that would have been any marketable order we pay for. any order where I add liquidity, so where I'm sitting there and taking the fill, like right now, I have another offer up here at 22s. So if that comes in, let's just say I'm using EdgeX or Arca or one of these gateways here. The story is that if you're adding liquidity means you're posting. So just for an example, I'm buying TQQs at 59 lower than the bid, 59.15, or I'm selling TQQs anywhere over here where my order goes pending. If I get filled, I will, and this is depending on sort of what store you shop at, so what gateway you're at here, Arca, NASDAQ, any of those, they'll pay you, and some will charge you different rebates. So for me, I only have to pay on marketable orders, and I've had some of those go through. The problem is that you pay almost double sometimes for an order where you punch it out. And so when I'm just getting little fees back, all of a sudden, if I punch out of like 1,000 or 500 shares, that fee could be a little extra because you get charged per 1,000. So, but anyways, that's how it works. And we got to cover our clearing fees at Real Trading, a fee to the SEC,
fees.
and a small execution fee. But I'm not sure exactly how the fees break down right now. But
a lot of times, outside of the rebate, the SEC fees, generally speaking, they're all fractional and small.
Like I could break down my fees, but
it kind of goes up and down.
Yeah, so I'll just tell you how many fills I've had today. Not very many, and it's 240. So just on the TQs alone, I have 103 fills. So 103 little marks here. I know it's ridiculous, but as I said, it is P&L number one on the show, all shows today. So again, trade your own style, but at the end of the day, it's been a profitable one. So as long as you understand where your money and your bread is being buttered, then keep doing it. Look at Toilet Brush. Bang, bang, bang. What's up, Toilet Brush? I see you on the recap show as well. Always there, brushing toilets and trading stocks. Shout out to you, Toilet Brush. You're a friend of mine.
Holla, I've seen him there too, and a lot of fun getting a chance to fill in, as it always is with Adara.
Yeah.
I know you guys will have a good one tonight. You can also, there's some interesting shotgun questions that you could always ask. I always love I don't know if you've seen a chart of PayPal today, but
I talked about PayPal earlier.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you've seen it. I was going to say PayPal Square, because Bitcoin's down,
Well,
right? They're both under pressure. Bitcoin's getting hit a little bit here. So Square, you'd think might be a little bit worse, but then.
So I thought PayPal could have been a long. I didn't even realize it was down that much.
Dude,
63?
I was going to say I don't disagree, because I was looking at PayPal on the weekly chart myself.
Yeah, it's not a buy.
And-
It's maybe at $60.
Well, on the weekly, oh goodness, you have to zoom right in. Can we come to the chart for a second? So PayPal on the weekly chart, there's a bottom. I don't have a drawing. It's probably a drawing tool to do this. I don't really use it to draw, but there's your smiley face. There's the 50-period moving average on the weekly, not daily. Already bounced off it once, about to bounce off it again. That's generally allow it to make a bottom, allow it to hold a higher low, and this is not a daily chart. It's a weekly chart where you're seeing this on PayPal. So it looks really interesting off that 61, and I was actually considering this one for myself. And then you had the move today, which is weak. Because that's a weekly chart, obviously I want to see PayPal close this week, not busting that level, and we have an hour for that to still not happen. So that's kind of obvious there. Novavax just tagged the bottom here at 60s. I trailed it to 70. So if we get back up to 9, I'll try and rinse and repeat that. It's only 307. A chance it can get back up to 95s, and then we can reload it. Alphabet is starting to pull back. It got to 169 and turning around here. Wanted to put in a higher low. If this can't hold one, the volume is not there anymore. The volume gigantic, and then it's starting to taper off. I'd like to see it hold 168.60, where it stopped the first time, and then bounce higher. If it can't do that, might need to jump out of that one. AMD is kind of
Here we go.
slowly moving back into the downside. Love to see it actually hold underneath the 152 and then shoot for 151.60, which is that's the price that we got when we shorted it a little bit lower. So 152 is trying to break now. 151.60 is a target for it. If it breaks this lower high, I'll probably put a trailing stop in there just to make sure that we lock in some profits there.
So shout out to RIVN Millionaire again. You see, this is how we have 100 fills. I just had 3 fills in 1 minute right there. And we shorted again. Look at this short. We shorted 20s again, or 18s, and we just got out again at 10s and 11s. So, or, sorry, 12s and 11s there, I think it was. Downside, yeah. So, I don't know, why would I have a 12 and 11? See, sometimes I have too many orders out. But there it is, nice move to the downside here. We'll have to wait on it to see if it does want to print lower or not. We're getting out if it takes VWAP, so we're just having fun right now. Tesla could be a trade. Let's go back over to that one. We've made a lot. This is again, P&L with Tesla and TQs are basically tied. You guys could say you might not be able to trade my style the way I'm doing it now, but look what happens here in the morning. I mean, we absolutely, man, that's my favorite emoji. Are they called emojis, Ramin? What are those things called? Like what do you call this? Like animation? Any of these things, we're like on the stream deck. Okay, animations. So yeah, we were really bearish to begin the day anyways on Tesla. And I mean, look what happened. That's a $4 or $5 winner. And again, this isn't the scalping that you're seeing happening right here on TQs. You know, I mean, this is a completely different style of trading. And I was trying to do similar style here on AMD, trying to hold for bigger moves back up. But unfortunately, this is basically, we only have one red stock today, AMD. We will be slightly red on Apple. We talked about that. But the big red one for me is AMD just battling with 152 and just putting on too many shares and then taking a couple 30-cent hits back and forth there. Graphics, says Mr. Long Shorts. Okay. I don't mind the graphics talk. Yep. I'm with Ramin over there. I'm never, ever losing this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, we'll put, okay, right there, yeah, graphics. Neil, what would you call these things that we always hit on our stream deck here?
Animation.
Right, exactly, perfect, exactly. So
Who's someone that said that?
No. I was like, oh, are we going to call them like GIFs or like, I wasn't sure, but yeah, we settled on animations.
Oh,
So I know you just got a water, so I wanted to ask you when you came back what you thought.
You got to stay hydrated.
Yes, yeah.
Actually,
I might go get another coffee.
No, I wasn't.
Thank you, Finch Jane. I am a trading machine.
I didn't drink enough water yesterday. And I find that when you're rehydrating because you don't drink enough water like the day before, then like when you start rehydrating your body, like it's just, you know, you feel better, but you get to go to the bathroom more and all that.
It's funny how my voice is so much better now after talking for 5 hours than it was when I woke up after yelling all last night.
You have to work it back out.
It's funny because some of the parents know me from hockey because Gia plays both sports, so they know. And they're like, oh, so that's what baseball Sean looks like. Because like watching hockey, I'm just chilled out. I'm just like watching Gia cheering for her, whatever. But then like coaching and stuff like that, a completely different beast overall right there. Yeah, make sure you do hit that. I just saw it in the chat. Oh, it got retracted? Okay. Well, why did that get taken away? I was going to say go check out Blue Chew. Right. Oh, there it is right there. Get Blue Chew free when you use promo code TraderTV. Go check it out in our chat. And if you're like, hey, how the heck am I going to get free Blue Chew? Okay, Nate in the chat is interested in this product.
What's up, Nate?
What's up, Nate? Do you, Nate? Go get that.
Nate dog.
But hey, you know what? Hey, man, like, you know, whatever floats literally your boat. You can go in there and grab your free Blue Chew. $5 shipping.
I mean, come on. That's all you got to pay.
Someone's got to pay me more than $5 to walk 5 blocks, let alone nationwide shipping. Are you kidding me?
The only better deal than paying $5 worth of shipping is to pay absolutely nothing for the Freedom and Wealth podcast. And you want to know how you get freedom and wealth? This is not a promo. I'm just saying this. No,
this also might not be true.
What? Well, first of all, it's by gaining what? This is actually I'm trying to.
That's fine. Yeah.
No, by gaining knowledge. No, gaining knowledge for free.
Yes.
Is one of the most valuable things you can do. Like when I was a kid, my dad once a week he made us go to the library, and it's like you have to take out X amount of books, and you got to read X number of pages. He kept a spreadsheet about that stuff, because the library is free. It just takes your time, and that's the same thing about gaining knowledge, like from something like this podcast, right? Like it's just about everybody coming together and learning, and getting a little bit more wealthy, which of course gives you a little bit more freedom, and that's. We're not joking about that at the end of the day. Like this program is free for a reason, and everybody's journey is going to be different, whether you're a long-term investor, whether you're a trader, Whether you're somebody who's swing trading, it doesn't really matter. You can learn from these basic lessons all the time. I just want to point out this LiDAR. LiDAR just, okay, so I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I'm not trading the stock, but it just kind of whacked this $3 level and failed it again and starting to look a little bit heavy. Like it really chewed up these bids that were sitting there at 3 the last time and came back underneath. So I'd be a little bit careful here. It's running out of volume and steam and it just wicked that $3 again. Just be careful on LIDR. It's certainly running into some trouble. I'm not saying it's going to tank, but it kind of looks like it might do that right about now.
I mean, just a quick little look at some of the stocks that we're bumping around here today. I mean, I like this board. We use this on the recap show as well. Just highlight some of the major names that are moving around. I mean, Eli Lilly down at 762. I mean, still holding out okay, but a little bit of a downside push there. Remember, we got long. This is just a daily chart. We got long off earnings. Or before earnings at 7:30, we had talked about that on the podcast. And then, so still in the money there a little bit. I still want to be buying that as much as we possibly can. XOM Oil Energy's down today. The materials sector is down there today as we'll flip over. You can go over to the sectors as well and double check that here on, this is just TradingView. Google down 0.72, Microsoft upside, Meta pretty flat. We sort of highlighted that. Interesting to see, look at the financials, man. Barely a red symbol in here. Equinox, so there's some credit facilities there. The CME group is down for some reason. ICE is down. So some of the exchanges are down right now, but get rid of this. We don't need no ad. What is that, a Blue Chew ad over there? All right, Visa right there. Tesla down 2%. We sort of talked about that, and we've picked on that today. GE down almost 3% today as well, so that's a nice downside move for GE if you want to pick up some value there. Apple as well down that 1%, which is kind of a... I don't know. I mean, we had written down here today that we like that Apple long at 184. We had traded that to the long side and are still in it. They got some recent news there with AI and just talking about adding some chips into their phones. So we sort of thought that was going to be the case, and then improving Siri along the way. So since that news came out, we don't have a fill underneath, so it's been a good day for us there on Apple in the afternoon. We did get spanked early as we put out 184 as a buy zone, and then the market just ran all the way to the downside. And it wasn't even the market, it was just more Apple, which is why we kept fighting it, not believing it to be the case. But yeah, it just kept on going down until it finally broke the 200 period with news. And that's about it, man. I mean, not much is happening. 30 cents in the money on SMH. The missed trade is probably going to be NVIDIA. Oopsies, not in Brazil, of course. It's in the NASDAQ.
Might be.
Did we touch? Okay. Did we hit VWAP again? No, we did not. So I was wondering if we got back up to there. NVIDIA now trying to turn down. Maybe we'll get out of our SMH. Well, it's starting to, and it's under 900 and staying there. SMH right there, 895. That's still NVIDIA. In SMH, we've already covered right here at 22.75. So that was already about a 50-cent winner. Looking to get more here on SMH. Let's go to the downside. We're net short, baby. We've still got a majority of our TQQ position on, and we have SMH. And I'm going to go get a nice lemon ginger tea.
Put some honey in that, although I can't stand...
With some honey.
I cannot stand the new honey things that we have. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, let me use that little tea thing that I had over here. All right, I'll be right back.
So, no, we had these little, like, I don't even know what you call them. There's like these little candy sticks. Like you open it up and you can swirl it in your tea or your coffee. And I used mine like the first day because I have a sweet tooth, and Sean had his kind of saving it. And then one day I was like, yo, man, can I have that? Because I needed something sweet. So I stole it, and it's fantastic to do in tea. He knows what's up. I just got out of Google. I told you if it trailed back and could not hold the 60s, I would just jump out of it. I've been sort of favoring the shorts. I've reloaded mostly shorts. We reloaded the short on AMD. That's working. I reloaded the short on Novavax. I almost said GameStop. On Novavax, we're out of that. That worked. So we're out of Google. Volume really tapered off here. If it gets down into the bottoms, might go for the reload on Alphabet, but I'm just going to take it out. The best out was about 50 cents, but we're risking only 14 pennies, and that would be with slippage. And there was a good question. Fazia just asked about SQ, and part of what I was getting at when I was asking Sean Square versus PayPal was more along the lines of, like, Square is like no question better looking of a chart on the daily. However, it's PayPal that I was more interested in trying to pick a little bit of like a swing bottom. If it can actually close this, all it has to do is close the 62 today, which it looks like it's going to do on the weekly, which looks pretty good. Square, I just didn't see a trade there. It's great holding the 200 period moving average, but it's sort of in the middle of absolute no man's land. What do you do with it? Right now, the 70.5 level looks pretty solid, but as a day trade, you're either already in the bottom, holding it in the money, or you're waiting for the next shoe to drop. Like, this is yuck, and then consolidate off of said yuck. Not a heck of a lot to work with there. But, you know, I do like Square. It's no question been performing better than PayPal. It's just where PayPal is coming from and how it's starting to make a little bit of a bottom that kind of appeals to me a little bit. So we're into power hour, but it is 3:20. I still have the last piece of Apple here, and it's just sort of hanging out. It cannot seem to get to the high 90s. So every single time it gets into 90, it's like 88, 89. Top is like 93. I think I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna take it at 89. Like, next time it gets up there, I'm just gonna take the profit now that it's 3:20, and we'll hang on to the AMD short and see where it goes. Oh yeah, you have it. You see these? I don't even understand why we used to have actual honey. You could just, like a normal person, maybe these are actually a big deal. We just squirt the honey in. And,
Oh, I think we have that, but I saw these.
Like those things. First of all, it's way too much, so it's like you waste it every single time. You're not going to use the whole thing. I got a bunch.
Yeah, I didn't spill that much.
Dude,
I was cheersing everybody.
Any idea how much coffee
I just don't,
I spill?
Yeah, thank God it was just basically just water. All right, so I'm just going to. Oh yeah, you're right. I mean,
Hold on a second,
I just ripped this with my. No, I've got scissors here.
Oh, you got them?
But the thing is, then I'm going to make them all sticky. Yeah, I just don't want this to.
Oh, you have an X-Acto knife, though.
What do you mean?
Oh, I thought it was I looked over, I thought that was an X-Acto knife. I'm like,
There we go. Now the honey is just dropping in here. We'll get this going on here right now. What is this, making tea with Sean here today? We're supposed to be trading as we go, but so far so good. Oh, we actually, pause. All right, we actually got more shares here in the TQs. So now 59.20, we're back into that short right now. Man, I didn't even get that much honey out of there. I got to make that hole just a little bit bigger. We're getting ready to get stopped out now. Look, it's been fun, triple Qs, but it's only been a minute, and we're going to get out of here if it's not right. Look, whether or not the market falls or not, we've been scalping out. This is why you do that. Now we're in a spot. We can take a little bit of risk now with this position. I mean, whether or not it comes back in, sure, if we get stopped out, we would probably have wound up net like losing out of all these little small positions. But honestly, with this is what's happening, I'm pretty comfortable. Like, we just got short there at 22, and I guess while we were getting our tea, it fell back in 5 or 6 cents. So let's see if we can scalp out a little bit more if it does come back into those levels one more time. And then we'll just, you know, keep living that good life. So for right now, we're short here right now at 20 at this price with some more bids out there, as I'm going to try to get more honey out of this straw thing.
yeah, I don't even know what you call that. That's why I think it's ridiculous. And like, I know everybody's like, yeah, that's ridiculous. But it is what it is. You got to get.
Well, I asked if it was dissolvable. Like, it should be dissolvable.
Well, see, that would actually make logical sense.
Thank
if it was
you,
dissolved,
yeah.
because then you have piping.
I mean,
hot,
now it's just coming
you could just
out.
stir it.
Oh,
There's that's a lot of honey for one serving.
No, this isn't that much. This is very, very thin.
Well, I use a small amount. I'm not much for sweeteners in anything. I'm out of Apple. I just took it in front of that 90 level. It got up to 88, and I just decided this time we'll get out. So we'll see what happens. Market is starting to go higher. Let me just double check on AMD, because that could be breaking the channel to the upside.
Yow.
Yeah, I might give it to like the 10s. It's back over 152. Diet soda, Costco pushing all-time high soon.
That's right.
You don't want to know. You want to know why Costco is going to push an all-time high soon? Because I didn't get in. And what I think it's doing is it's teaching me a valuable lesson. And it's, you know, I have to see this, and I have to deal with the FOMO. And yeah, this was one of the names that I wanted on a dip buy. And when it started going in, I'm like, oh, here it comes. Here comes 650. I actually had a bid at, I think it was $662.42, something like that, thinking it was going to get picked up. It didn't, and now Costco, it doesn't matter. It's like 10% of the money if you just bought the first chance you got at the 700 level. So I think it's what? I mean, all-time highs are literally right now. It's probably there in 30, at 3:30, let's call it. So, 3:30 or so, Costco is going to be at a fresh high. I mean, it's so close. I mean, I'm just making up that time. It could be 4 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. No, I was laughing at my wife.
But it's getting there for sure. What would she say?
Nah, they just sent me some messages. It's like, I got a message from the accountant. It's like, boom, you're done your taxes. I was like, yeah, I know. Thank you. A while ago. All right, so right here, 59. We're going to get stopped out at 30. So we're right here right now. A potential stop out. It's 324. I mean, tonight on the recap show, there's not many earnings to discuss, but we are going to go over some of the major earnings that hit this week, including Uber. We're going to review some of that tonight. We're going to talk about we're going to go over some Q&A with Adair and myself. That should be a lot of fun. Just looking at some of the misses this week and potentially what happened with them. We see a nice little rebound back in Roblox as well. I'm not going to give away everything, but you guys know a lot of the names that we're going to be talking about here into the close and at the recap show. So traders will stay late. Tonight's my turn, and we'll go back into that, and we'll stay late with you until about 4:30. Recap everything that happened, including all the moves in all the sectors. And today, talk about the industrials breaking out. We had that last week. And we actually talked about also GLD, if you want to look at that quickly. Gold's been moving down, but finding a base in and around this 215 area. So I think it was with Brian maybe on Tuesday that we talked about it. Just that, there's sort of a flight to safety potentially with Bitcoin maybe when he was breaking down Ethereum. And then also, gold coming back in a little bit. It's now made moves. Like we talked about this on Tuesday when it was down here at 214 to maybe even lower than that. And now you're up pushing that 219 area, 220, which we were at, looks like earlier. But again, pulling back in from these all-time highs. Again, gold gave back about 7 or 8%, dipping into the 50-period moving average. That's been something that we've looked at, especially when you're trading something that's not super quick in its movements. Gold, another good idea to trade coming through again. So, all right, we're just, I don't know, man. There's still.
I just got out of my last position.
There's still not much out. Was it Google?
No, well, I already took Google out, and Apple just came out. AMD just failed to hold on to 152,
okay.
So I just
that's
got out of
moving?
that one.
All right.
So like if it gets, it could always go back up. It's a 50-cent range. It's 326. There's time. It could get back into the top of the range, and then we could work off of that. What else is going on here? Ponzi, you can get a shout out. What up?
Why is someone asking us?
Starbucks, man.
Yeah, someone there said, any advice on trading large cap names? No advice. Never done that before.
Starbucks is on the NASDAQ, Oh, it was on my chart. As I go to Blue Ocean for Starbucks, every single time I'm always on the wrong market on the drop down.
We've had this complaint before. Why can't AI just figure this out? If I'm not ever trading Blue Ocean, why is it showing me an option to trade Blue Ocean?
Blue Ocean, by the way, it's like an overnight market for trading.
Yeah, another opportunity that you have. You can come in and see what these stocks are doing. Pre and post earnings after the markets have closed in your traditional.
Lots of opportunity in real trading.
Yeah, it's lots of opportunity.
Actually, one of the most, this trading floor, I remember when Trump got elected, like a bunch of the traders came in just to trade the futures that day, so just for the volatility, and it was a good opportunity for everybody. It is mostly 24 hours. Most markets you have the opportunity for aftermarket, but futures market, there's Forex here as well at real trading. Although I don't really know anybody that trades it on this floor. Everyone's usually equity here. But there's lots of opportunities out there for everybody. Lots of fun in the chat here. I think he said large cap versus small cap. That was the question. Like the difference between the two, I suppose. Totally different worlds. It's like a different world and not the TV show. Because the thing about small caps.
I love Real World on TV. Remember that MTV show?
Oh my goodness. The first,
that's where the Miz in WWE started there on Real World. I remember watching that. That was hilarious.
My first summer in university, between first year and second year, I'm pretty sure I remember that's when I got introduced to the real world. I was like, wow, that's a.
I tried to ask Perplexity what the odds are for the current presidential race, and I knew.
Of course it knows.
So now it doesn't know anything. It's not talking about governments and stuff. See, remember Google won't do that?
Oh, no, that's right. Of course, it doesn't want to answer anything.
It says, unfortunately, we will not give you search results containing any information about the current odds or polling for the presidential race.
Boo.
But that might not be due to that. I don't know, maybe I asked the question wrong.
No.
I just want to know what it is because you just mentioned about, like, I think we're close to 50-50 again. And so I was just thinking that day, that might be an opportunity there.
I think so.
For will be an opportunity for some pretty crazy after hours trading, especially if it's going to be as tight as it is. We're a little isolated here. Like the only news that we get, well, we're not isolated. We just don't. Our news isn't 24 hours a day about what's happening down south, but there's been some stuff happening.
Plus, our election cycle doesn't exist.
No, we don't really have an election.
No,
cycle. Plus we have so many different parties.
It's so small.
Well, not really. We have three.
Like from the time that they open up like the like the advertising or the campaign.
Oh,
when
the
we
window
vote, like the window of campaigns opening in Canada
6
to
months
voting,
at most.
it's like super tight. So it's like it's already over when it starts. Like you guys down south get like a bit of experience there. Speaking of which, I can't believe we didn't even mention once today the cannabis names. Like CGC, yikes! It continued to give it up. Should have just gone back to the well here with the shorts on CGC. But ye old flat bottom break tomorrow. Monday, going to be in play. Triple bottom at $8.80 on CGC. But you know what? That plays both directions. Once, twice, thrice. It was even a breakout price at $8.80. That is a heck of a level. Somebody must have been looking at this to notice it bounced off 883 times, also broke out there a week ago to grab that little wick bottom. And that's it's just another thing that you trade a heck of a lot more during an election year that gets a little bit more exciting. I'm canceling that Palantir breakdown order. Palantir
Here we go.
Bouncing again off of 2050. So we're a bit late in the day to take a break. So I had a stop order to go short, but obviously it's not going to happen at this point on Palantir.
Hey, where's that? Here we go. Where's Travolta? Where's that Britney Spears animation that we've been wanting to? Because there it is. We have done it again. Right there. Yeah, I think it might be some copyright stuff. Is that what it is? Oh, I'll give you some vocals. I'll give you some sick vocals. Do it right now. You hear my voice? If we're going to do it properly, I'm going to be working on this.
Dara's singing it right now.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to do it in the podcast room. That's right, Fabian. Let's go. Let's get that money.
With the mood lighting and
get
everything.
that money to use over there.
Yo, you know what that reminds me of? I forgot to say this
trade.
when you brought it up. It's like in Hustle and Flow. You know
yes,
what?
I want to rewatch
you know when
that
they
movie.
first step in and they lay down that first track?
Those first bars?
That's what I'm
and
feeling.
he's just like, yeah, like that. Yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, wait, that's not a good thing to say.
Ludicrous. That man.
No, but that movie was legit.
Yeah, that was pretty decent movie. I remember we were pretty young. What were we? That must be 20 years old.
No, it's not 20 years old.
Look it up.
Please don't let it be 20 years old.
2005 would be 20 years old.
Oh.
When was it, Neil?
It was actually 2005. Damn.
See, I told you, man, you're losing memory, all that kind of stuff.
Look at all my gray. You don't even have any gray
I'm just
hair.
saying, yeah, you're aging, man.
Of course I am. It happens to you. Wow, great movie though. I mean, check it out if you can.
Yeah. Cause I always try to think of like what kind of age, where was I?
Whatever happened to? Anyways, the star of that movie, like he
2005. So I was like, maybe.
You know what?
Years old. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
I just remember what happened to the star in that. And he says the same things that.
Those are some pretty good vocals.
Yeah, go to Adara. Anyways, that's for another story because Cat Williams had something to say about the star of Hustle and Flow and why that guy fell off as well. It was the same Terrence Howard, it was the same Hollywood stuff.
Right,
apparently.
Terrence Howard, not Cuba. Was Cuba Gooding?
He wouldn't sell out. He
Terrence
wouldn't do
Howard,
the things that you need to do to get star jobs, apparently. Let's go to Adara with the big screen.
Some names making outsized moves today on the S&P 500 that we're going to go over that maybe we haven't talked about as much today. First name here going to be Charter Communications, CHTR, standing out in an already pretty strong sector here after announcing $3 billion, the pricing of $3 billion in senior secured notes, $1.5 billion due in 2029, and then another $1.5 billion due in 2034. Next up, we have GEN. That's going to be Gen Digital. Day one earnings move up over 14%, reporting stronger than expected Q4 earnings. So some of their guidance was slightly on the weak side. They also, though, authorized a $3 billion share repurchase program. Great move to the upside for GEN. Last but not least, Moderna. mRNA down about 4%. The FDA informing Moderna that it will not be completing its review of its vaccination by the expected date of May 12th due to some administrative issues. However, it does plan to review it by the end of May. So mRNA to the downside on that, guys.
Boo mRNA. Don't want that stock going down. It's a shot play of mine. You know, kind of like give it a healthy amount and try to hold it for a while. But it was bouncing nicely off 100. Now all of a sudden not. Early, there was a question about early look imbalances. Not much. It's 330, so you do have a few out there. For what it's worth, BlackBerry is a 2 million early look sell, but that's a pretty cheap stock. Visa is always there. It doesn't really matter. And then, I mean, Ford's a 500,000, so not much there outside of BlackBerry for a sell. Someone trying to get the you-know-what out of Dodge on that name. RIVN Millionaire saying, look at CrowdStrike. Don't really see a trade. Look at the move off VWAP here. Like, if you got that at noon, that's a good one. I like CrowdStrike, prefer Palo Alto. That's the one I'm in. But that's a great look. Look at this hold now above the 50-period moving average. That's what you like to see. Sometimes it's not about finding the bottom. It's about when does it start showing you that it's back in the bullish move. Like holding above the 50-period is a great sign there. I'm in PanW. And the most recent buy was a 260. I've had some for a while, but the only recent buy was at the 260 level. Maybe not doing, if it'll load here, maybe not doing quite as well clearly as CrowdStrike, but similarly consolidating and breaking above the 50 period on its own right. So that 260 level post earnings has been gold. A couple of times it's given it to you, and it's about 10, 12 cents in the money, or percent in the money off of that. But that's the one I got, and we just took that opportunity to add to it on the last little dump. LiDAR did drop. Yeah, that one, it looked really, really, yeah, so what it was doing here at that $3 level, it was really suspect when it tried to break 3 the second time and falls right back into 250. You got to watch out for those failed breaks. They're horrible. Like everyone wants that $3 breakout. It's going to go $3 to $4. It already just came from $2 at VWAP. But when it fails that twice, you got to know to get the you-know-what out of Dodge. And breakouts in the afternoon on these small cap ones can be pretty perilous. I've said I usually prefer to go dip buy hunting. If you got to choose, buy the dip, because you'll usually have a better opportunity, risk to reward. You'll have a more obvious out. And then if it gets to that big level, you can just try to hold a small piece, effectively like the breakout. Then you'd already be in the money. This never gave you a good dip buy after it halted, and probably still won't, unfortunately.
Okay, all right, 3:36. So it's been a great afternoon. I want to thank everybody for coming in today and trading with us, and at least talking about some of these markets and having a good time with us into the weekend. So not much hitting the news wires, nothing really going on here for us here late. We've scalped out a little bit on the TQs. We've talked a little bit about scalping. We've answered some questions. I think it's been pretty good. Apple, really our big play this afternoon. Just buying this and talking all about it. I mean, we talked about why we liked Apple there. I even had to answer the question about why am I short the market and long Apple, and we've discussed that, and that's really been paying off, obviously, as we continue to scalp out of the market and hold this long in Apple. Just continues making highs into the afternoon. I like the story here, and yeah, we'll just continue to watch out for Apple taking out 183 and just getting into the close. Again, with good news coming through, I do expect imbalances to be north side for AAPL. So we'll wait to see if it can hit 337 right now. We don't have the early look, expecting it to be kind of nothing into the close as a general statement, but yeah, certain stocks could be there. Palo Alto, again, I mean, I like cybersecurity names. I'm only in this one. There's been a name that I bought for a very, very long time, and I recently put some money in, not even recently anymore, was really just on this dip. And it ripped all the way to the 50 and came all the way back, and then now broke into that 310 area again, and now has pulled back again. So PanW really hasn't been a super sexy name to hold on to, but I still like these bottoms. Just looking at it now, because we are starting to go lower, we just hit VWAP and turned around a little bit. PanW on my mind there today. Another name that I was thinking about, I mean, not really dip buying into. We've talked about Walmart a little bit. A name that's on earnings this week is Uber. That should be an exciting one. But, I mean, honestly, take your phone and just sort of scan the screen right there and get that barcode, because I don't know what is happening here with this barcode. Is this like a free ride on Uber if you click on this? Let me see. Open up your Uber app and just click on this chart right there. Oh, no, it must not be working. But there it is. It's free $5 off Uber. Just scan this, but not much happening. So, you know, obviously that's not, do not take your phones out. That would not work. But what you could do is scan the QR code below there, hit up IG. I mean, we talked about Forex. Ain't nothing wrong. Oh, yeah. So I start talking and it switches over to that. I see what you're doing, Ramin. Okay, fine. Yeah, you never do anything. I get it. When things go smoothly, it's like Ramin is on point, boy.
That would be one heck of a coincidence.
You know, and then whenever something screws up, he's like, nope, nope, look at me, look at me. All right, but anyway, scan that. Well, okay, I'll just do it now. Then again, whatever. Okay, scan that there. If you want.
If that switches right now.
If you want a chart to look like this. Oh man.
The market seems paralyzed. JP Swade just said.
All right, Apple is starting to go up to the upside right now. Really starting to blast. Let's go. That is a face slapper for your boy. One more time. There it is. It's a quick 70-cent move to the upside here as Apple chews its way through VWAP up through 183 and going higher here into the close. So this is not going to be a move. I might. Let me just put out like 20% here at 23s. Just to take some exposure off here into the close. I've already talked a little bit about trying to get this, not trying to get it, but being patient. I say that, but I just like not trying to do anything, just waiting for this to come to the downside, and it just hasn't been there. So I don't know, with Apple trying to take out highs right now and doing that on the afternoon and still going higher, SMH really not doing anything. You know, no point in putting on too big of an L here. Let's take out 20% just right there. There, we got some out at 23s. So, I mean, our price is 22 here. Let's hope for a flush in on the day. Take a little bit of risk off. Now, no more. I have some bids now at 13s where we've already gotten filled, and we'll hope for some push down here into the end of the day. That's probably the last trade I'll take, unless there's something that moves quite frequently here into the close. I'm still checking scanners, so if we get anything that's moving, we'll look at that.
Yeah, I just came back over to Novavax.
Very slow.
Every time it does this, it's on barcode, drop, barcode, drop, barcode, drop, barcode. Might be nice if it drops, but it doesn't have to. 890 is a new level. It was $9 before, and then this was like $8.95 when I was waiting at 9. So this time it's $8.90. Just kind of a simple stair-step pattern. So we'll see if that one goes. I'd say this was a disappointing one because they had actually good news and really thought it had a chance to squeeze, but the squeeze happened early. Like that was complete insanity. And depending on when you get in the morning, you have to be here so early, and then how thin it was. And I decided like this when I sat down. It was like 7 o'clock or so, and I saw something at like the $10 level, and I was like, look, if I don't actually try an execution here just for small shares, just to see something, because I saw like a little bit of it was like somebody pushing the stock, for lack of a better term, in front of 10. And I'm like, okay, well, if they're sitting there stacking when it's a very thin, can I just jump and cut in front of one of their orders with a tight stop and get a little bit of a push? And if you can see this little handle in here, this was to 1080, and this is $10. So it did it once, and then the second time I saw it, I just kind of took a long in there at 13s. I'm like, let's see if does it work scalping in there, and that's exactly what happened. Now, it's ridiculous that anybody does that, but it was enough liquidity there that I was like, yeah, I'm going to be able to get out at 10, no problem. And if it happens to go up, I'll take advantage of it. So I just saw a little something, and I wanted to try it. And you don't really know unless you execute on it. So I was able to get that. I don't usually trade at 7 o'clock. Usually I'm just going over charts, analyzing news, like that kind of thing, getting ready for my day. But it was one of those things where I just had to take a shot at it after I saw it. Palantir, I guess it should have just been, you know, you can, when you have a level like this, like obviously there's only two things you can do. The stock is trending down, 2050 triple bottom. You can look for the flat bottom break to continue the trend because I was feeling pretty bearish, or you could just go long at $20.51. So I'm hoping somebody went long at $20.51 and is now getting paid off. I was waiting for the breakdown. It came down here on volume and bounced right off 50 even. You could have been long at 51 or 52, no problem. That's 3 cents worth of risk to make 10 cents. That's what it's all about. But I always try to play it in one direction off of a level. I don't like getting wrapped up in, oh, I'm going to go long at 51, and I'm just going to reverse short if it breaks. So I'll play it in both directions. And I used to do that all the time. And if you've been watching the show the last couple of years, 100% I used to do it. And there was one time on Apple where I was scalping offer, making money on the scalp trade. Then I'm going to reverse into the long. The long was bamboozlement. And I had scalped it for an hour during lunchtime and was printing on it, and a lot of people were on the floor. One false breakout and lost everything that I scalped. I was like, this is ridiculous. And if I had stuck with the short, I would have just gotten out of the short after making money short. I would have re-entered on the false break, and I would have been only looking in one direction, and that first direction that I liked would have been the best. So I learned that lesson a long time ago. Pick and rip. It's like in baseball, man. It's like wait for your pitch, do your thing. If you're a fastball hitter, then I'm looking for fastballs early in the count, straight up. That's just how I was kind of like, I'll hit whatever's out in front of me. But if that's your thing, if you like pitches on the outside, then wait for something outside, man, and just wait. You get 2 strikes, then you can protect. But those key levels, trade it one way or the other. If you happen to get Palantir at 51, I was looking short breakdown. Obviously, the long would have been good. So one more time on Novavax, it just got to 75, which it seems to always get to. 75 bounce, that time retrace to 75, and low of the day is 60, so that's where we're gonna get out. That LiDAR stock, I'm gonna make an assumption it's holding up pretty well. I thought this would be at VWAP already. So it's actually holding up much better than I anticipated on LiDAR. I thought this could have been bouncing off of VWAP for maybe a little opportunity. Now it's way too late to even think about that. If it gets to VWAP, you want no part of it. Only 15 minutes to go, 5 minutes till the imbalances come through as well.
Props. There it is again. I mean, we are literally, this is like there are pennies, and I wish it was even nickels, falling out of the sky right now. But the TQs just continues to print for us all afternoon. So there it is again. How many, like, again, if you are trading with us, like you're someone behind us, or you're trading with Real Trading, or anything like that, it's just out, like the boom, boom, boom. You know, we're under VWAP. Anything could happen at any time. It's 346 right now. I don't know if this market rips or tanks, but we already have our out, and it's just right here, 30s. So there's the short at 22. We're covering right now at 13s. That's like the 10 cents that we need to basically cover up this last trade. So we'll do that. Now we're playing with house money again. We're out of half for that dime, and now we'll just wait. Now it's house money. If it goes all the way back up to the upside, then we'll give that matcha tea latte back. And then other than that, we'll wait to see if we get another one. Buy one, get one free here into the close. So down here, we do have a bid at 10s again. Why not? I have another 10% out there. And then if we can get anything back down at the 200 period, here we go. Give me those 10s. Give me that bid right here. Shout out to Easy E. Because that is an old school name right there.
That's taking it way.
Yeah, it's taking it right back to the old school. It is literally straight out of Compton right there. Shout out to DeMar DeRozan as well.
I'm more about straight out of low cash. Compton's but low cash is where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, Compton is...
Gusto's the real gangster. Yelling at you.
I'm from the streets of Brampton. I'm just going to keep it real.
Charlie Murphy, bro.
Yeah. I'm all about Charlie Murphy. Yeah. Charlie Murphy. I mean, we love Dave Chappelle. We could have something to do with Dave Chappelle.
That was the first thing he did that I'm pretty sure, like... CB4 was like the first film, I think, that Charlie Murphy was in.
There's so many of those. Not Boys in the Hood, but there's CB4. What was the other one that's kind of like a mock?
Don't Be a Menace.
Oh, it's a Society.
The Wayans brothers.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Don't Be a Menace while drinking your something in the hood.
While drinking your juice, riding a bike or something like that.
That was good. The Wayans brothers, they're good for last, man. I got no issues with it.
I mean, the Wayans brothers did a movie called White Chicks or something where they're just like, how stupid are some of the movies that have been out there. Dude, Where's My Car?
Terry Crews did a great job in that movie. He kind of stole the show in that. The rest of it, I don't know.
I never really
That was
watched
kind of a
it.
shady film. There was just a good. Matt Carnes was asking thoughts on Lyft for a swing. I don't know. I like Uber, obviously. We've said this before. Uber's more diversified.
I'll take
Lyft
more out.
for a swing. Lyft underneath the 50 period. Just didn't do anything after earnings. Still in the middle of the range. I don't know. I always feel like if something's on earnings, like it's doing something. Like move out of the range, do something new.
Move.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Get out the way.
I'm really against like after earnings, things exactly where they are before. I just feel like I didn't learn anything new, and I kind of, my hands are always off in that situation. Yeah, so I don't know if I see it there on lift. I don't see anything.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm surprised it's not doing anything, and if anything, it's trending down. So, I don't know.
And BINGO, bingo, was his name-o, so we'll go bingo, bango, bongo on this one as well and go bang. Right there, we get some more outs at 12s right there on the TQs as we come back into these levels, waiting now for just 1 minute left on your imbalance tracker. So right now we will get rid of all of this. We will go like that, and we will wait for NYSE and NASDAQ to blast off, because right here live in lovely downtown Toronto, Ontario, Canada, home of your uncoached Toronto Maple Leafs temporarily, and then they will assign Craig Berube.
Maybe better off that way.
Very, very soon. And yeah, I mean, Sheldon Keefe has an extraordinary, he's one of the top records in the NHL for regular season. So we say shout out to that. But unfortunately, the boys, I mean, they lost in overtime in Game 7, and it cost the man his job. So it's not like we're here to say that he's not a great coach. It's just, unfortunately, heads roll, and this is why you get paid millions of dollars. You know, no, not just Toronto, but coaches will get fired unless you're John Cooper. But okay, here we go. Nice downside move. Not really, but
Apple's
we just take some out. Yeah, I was going to look to see what's going on there. BlackBerry, that's still around. That's a sell right now of $2 million. No. Apple's a buy. Neo, SoFi, not much happening right there. I don't know if there is a total number or not, but for right now, it's not moving around too much. BlackBerry, wow, sub $3 right now. Look at the move that it has there. You have a $2.5 million imbalance into a $4 million name. So could move around into the close. An interesting one to watch out for. As Apple goes upside, probably a problem, but not really for our TQs, as we just got some out again at 09 there. Again, little bit of a limited morning. As there goes Apple, Neil, we're still long into that one. So it's a diamond hands kind of day for me there as we hold a little bit of Apple. I think we'll just get it out now, call it a day. There is a buy imbalance. That could flip. Maybe if it breaks 183. All right. I mean, my stop on this was pennies on the dollar. Let's just go 182.99. Let's go 97. Enter, out. There we go. The stop order's out right now. Hands off. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. Haha.
$1 billion to buy.
What the? I just got an email. This is hilarious. Rick, I won't say her name, but our lunch lady there, I was talking to her when I got that honey stick. She just emailed literally the whole, what kind of power do we have around here?
Yes.
She emailed every single person around here how to open a honey stick. I am watching this video live with, this is 25 cents. Let me see what we do here. I use my mouth. Look at this handsome individual. What's up, my guy?
Put it back.
Right there. Here we go. Yeah, look at it. Okay. I'm feeling this. There's the tip. What? I was right? Boom. All right. We went. Oh, the dude's just straight eating it. All right. Bang. Maybe I'm in the wrong business, man. We you know. Well, thank you so much for sending that video out. We are now a little bit more educated.
Well,
I'm like, what is that email? Is that
we're here to
directly
learn,
at
right?
me?
We're here to learn.
Because I asked her, I said, is this a dissolvable?
No, but you're helping everybody because the whole office has to use those for our tea, for those that drink it, and maybe you put a little honey in there, and we get a learning experience. And now all of you know how to do it. By the way, I will say this: she's been around forever since I remember when I started trading. I used to trade. We trade over like lunchtime, and there was a big like lineup for like the lunch. And I'll never forget. There was one day we were waiting in line, and a couple of us. I mean, we got busted out on a move. And we're all really frustrated. It's like, well, while we're 5 minutes waiting in the lineup, we got blown out on a trade and we weren't there to sit down. And I remember mentioning that to her. And the next day, she comes to the two of us, the traders that got hit, and she said, you know what, I'll just, before anyone goes out, I'm going to prepare your lunches, because he had to go up and serve yourself, and then I'll put them aside for you so you don't have to wait in line. And it was just like, I don't know, where she just heard us talk about it, and then she did that for a couple of us. I'm like, that is like the sweetest thing ever. She's amazing. She's that thoughtful. I think that's super cool. I still say it's too much honey in that damn thing, though. That's all I'm saying. I don't use that much. I waste it every single time. I use a little bit, and then I throw the rest out, and I feel wasteful. I don't like wasting stuff. I just got out of Novavax. BlackBerry is not big enough to be interesting. If BlackBerry was 10 million, I'd probably. I mean, if it was if it was 10 million shares or maybe the same size as the daily volume, that would be, just even for a scalp trade, it would be solid. And you would have, you could have punched it and actually made like a cent. Still, you could have punched 90s and gotten out 89s or 88s, but it's not big enough to move the needle. It's probably going to pair off 100%. So not a heck of a lot to go into at the close. Thankfully, there were some opportunities, long and short Google in there. Obviously, AMD did some things, and then Apple, the big strong one. I love Apple holding on to this 83 at the end of the day, and I love even more the fact that Apple is consolidated over that 200-period moving average. Apple's back in the good books right now, at least for another week.
Yeah, we've done really good on Apple in the last little minute here. We even put our stop order in, but we are going to get a little bit of a flip up here at 3:55. So let's watch out. Apple's not even on here anymore there it is. It's actually in a sell down here. It's already paired off over here it is right here, over 6 million shares. So let's see what Apple does here in 5 seconds. We will get a flip on Apple. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so relatively uneventful. You did see here it didn't do anything, so it still stayed. I kept it highlighted there for a reason. Just went down a couple thousand shares there, so we'll have to wait to see if it does move around. BlackBerry's probably gone back up a little bit, barely. But again, on a stock that's not moving much, that's not bad. If you had that short 3 or 4 pennies, I don't know, you'd have to have it immediately. That would be tough to get.
Almost.
Roblox as a bid, ending the day. Nice, over VWAP. We'll watch out for Roblox. We'll mark that down as a couple-day play there for next week. Check back in on Apple, still right here. I'm just going to punch out of this one. End the day on a very, very high note here. Whoopsies, I don't know where there you go. On Apple, so we'll put an offer out there, and it just takes us out at 0.12 at 12s. So we'll cancel that. We'll cancel all of our stops and just start to get out now, as well as the TQs are almost all the way back up. As we said, we started getting out of more. We were already out, and then we took another fill there at 16 and another fill at 09s. So now we're very light on this one. It will now be, even as I get stopped out right here with hands off, because our stop order is right here at 31s on the TQQs. Actually, I canceled it. 59, because I want to cancel it into the end of the day. Right there, our stop order's out right now in the TQQs. We break above 30, we're out of that one, and it will be my highest stock of the day. And SMH, I might just punch out now. Not much happening over here with only 3 minutes left. SMH, another positive stock. So a couple good ones here today. Just messed up really on AMD. Other than that, we good.
Yeah, AMD was a frustrating one, but I feel like this week has been a week of morning meh, afternoon better, which is not always the case. Some weeks it's one way, some weeks it's the other way. This week has been a much better, generally speaking, afternoon. The morning moves, if you got them the right way, great. A lot of times the best prices haven't always come in. Just a reminder to everybody, if you haven't done so already, it's going to be a 2-parter. Make sure you go on over. Take a second. It only takes 1 second. I'm already subscribed, so I can't hit the button. I guess I could unsubscribe. Freedom and Wealth Podcast. It's up to 249. You can be the 250th subscriber. Literally anybody can be it right here, right now.
No, refresh it.
Okay, I'll refresh it right now. There you go. Hit the refresh. 267. Never mind. You cannot be the 250th, but you can be the 269th, which is probably even cooler than 250th, because that's just boring.
Way cooler.
Way cooler. But there will be a market recap show today. So Sean and Adara are going to be doing it. I had a lot of fun filling in yesterday. Hopefully you are. I know we have a couple of minutes left here. I don't know if you can spoil it, because maybe Marissa's watching and she has plans for Mother's Day.
Well, I'm not even sure what time we're going to be waking up on Mother's Day, so no initial plans for Mother's Day. We have baseball in the evening, which she absolutely loves, maybe something for dinner. I don't have a free minute from today at 8:30 to Sunday at midnight.
Just reminded me of something.
So I already know about your plans. You're doing a little bit of breakfast in bed, you mentioned.
Yeah, well, my Aaron wants me to do breakfast in bed. My wife still wants to go to the Jays game on Sunday, so we're going to that, and it's like junior Jays. Yeah, we run the park. I just realized that I have to figure out whether I'm picking up the uniforms for our team tomorrow morning, because I also have gymnastics. So I have to.
That's the other thing. Oh my God, there's so much.
Yeah, our first game. We don't have the uniforms yet. Oh my goodness, and we still haven't done the background checks, which is ridiculous because you're not supposed to be able to take the field to coach Little League if you haven't done the check. And then they were supposed to send us the stuff, and they haven't. 1 minute to go in here, but that's all right. We're going to have fun. And make sure nobody forgets, pick up that phone. Better yet, go visit your mother, tell her how much you love her. That's what it's all about. Shout out to all of the moms in the chat, wherever they might be. It's been a fun one. Like I said, there's still going to be an aftermarket show tonight, even though it's a Friday, up at the desk per usual. Go over some trades, market can fall asleep, but there's still going to be opportunities out there no matter what. Yeah, DJK, Shopify ugly again today. I think you just got to wait a hot minute for Shopify. Yeah, Cannot say that enough. We had a lot of Shopify questions. Just let it settle down, man. I mean, it's not a bad company. It just let it settle down. It's been a rough go for them. They need some blue chew.
All right, here we go. We are getting ready to get closed out here. We will be bringing on Adara in only 20 minutes if she... is eyed over there. 10 seconds to go. We got out of the triple Qs, we got out of everything, and here we get ready to rock and roll. So let's go, Adara.
In 4, 3, 2, you know what to do. Bang, there it is. Appreciate it right there. Market is closed, 0.2% upside, baby. NASDAQ and the US were actually up today. I know it didn't always feel like it when Tesla gets its butt kicked, and Apple was getting its butt kicked, but not anymore. Apple, okay, still down 0.7%. But that doesn't really tell you the story of the afternoon. Alphabet, still down 0.7%, but again, that doesn't tell you the story of the reversal that both of those names made. So, look, it's been a fun one. It's been a fun week. There's still, in the midst of earnings season, obviously we're talking about that. You get some retail coming through next week, which should be a heck of a lot of fun. It's always fun. It's just a little bit more fun when you have some earnings to get to. As always, big shout out on the ones and twos. Fabian, Ramin, doing a fantastic job, making sure that you switch up those graphics on us right in the middle of every single speech. And a great job, of course, by Professor and Adara and the Learn to Trade, kicking butt like they have all week long, and they always do. Big shout out to Brandon and Michael Noss in the morning. Great interview. Great job at the desk as always, Brandon. And of course, Adara doing that, watch list, trading, and in a couple of seconds, we'll be joining you at the desk.
Yeah. I'm in no rush to get over there. You know, it's going to be a very, very casual,
chill
little ride there. So, all right, good week.
Good
one,
brother.
Have fun. Happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Say
Fade to black.
Say it to Marissa and Deb.
I will. I'll say it to everybody. And thank you for that, Neil. All right, let's get ready to rock and roll, Fabian. You let me know, and we can throw it over immediately. Thank you to everybody for watching, for everybody here at Trader TV Live. Trader TV Neil, Trader TV Sean, over to Trader TV Adara, and I'll be joining her shortly. Ciao.
Hi, I am Adara. I am not Sean Katina, though you will see Sean Katina in just a few moments. But I am Adara. I'm so happy to be here with you guys for our Friday market recap. How's everybody doing? Vince saying, let's go. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls, hashtag traders stay late. Indeed they do. Thank you so much to Bears versus Bulls for all you do. Thank you to Neil for that great rap over there. Thank you to Sean as well and his Palantir hat and his sweater coming over here to chat some markets. I love that shot there, giving the Sean reveal.
Take the hat off. There you go. Now you can see my eyes, pearly whites.
Very excited for this afternoon. I think we're going to do another Q&A. We're going to wrap up some earnings that we had this week because we had quite a few interesting earnings names that did report this week. And I'm really excited to talk about them with all you guys here today. I think it should be a good half hour to end what was a pretty interesting week of trading.
I think it was a huge week of trading. I mean, we had a lot of good earnings calls. We had actually some more. Actually, most of them were to the downside. We'll talk about Uber. We'll talk about Roblox got crushed this week as well. But yeah, we're just gonna have some good times here, some fun. We are gonna review. I actually updated the rundown today, so that should be a lot of fun. So we'll have that going through as well. We'll talk about the different sectors that were popping off today. So thank you to everybody who's joining. I also do have our chat up right here as well. So we get some questions going through there. If Bears versus Bulls, you have any good questions for Adara or myself, please grab those. So people and all traders watching, put them in the chat and we will have some fun with those. Let's go over a little bit of what the day, thank you so much, Oscarito there. It's a Palantir hat, and that was another earnings play that maybe we could review. That was horrible.
Yeah. I don't know why that didn't make my notes.
Get this hat off my, yeah. All right, so ARC right now down 3%. I mean, that name continues to get beat up here a little bit. Oh, her screen, my screen, whatever screen you want, it's fine. There we all screen for ice cream, especially my kids. You know, my daughter last night, so she played baseball, and then one of her friends came to watch her, and then her brother was on the other team, and then after the game, the dad comes over to me and is like, Gia's asking me, can I have ice cream? We haven't even had dinner yet. But it's 8 o'clock, and I was just like, okay. So anyway, she had a big, huge ice cream cone, then went home, and we barbecued up those burgers late night, but a lot of fun. So 8 o'clock at least. I wasn't even home till 8:30, so we didn't even eat till 9.
It was like 9, yeah.
We didn't eat till 9.
I feel like late night dinners sometimes are fun though, right? It's like a nice little surprise.
Is that late? I don't know. All right, so here we go. ARC right now breaking lower. We've talked about this. We've talked about this with Brian Shannon. Again, as rates become a problem, ARC's going to get lower. We've seen Tesla push back today. We'll talk about that name as well. But ARC continues to go lower on news like Palantir, Roblox, like talk about Unity, like all the names that ARC seems to be in getting hit right now, as well as other very interest-sensitive areas like solar. Look at TAN going to the downside. People can barely afford car notes. How are you going to put solar panels on your roof? Watch out for TAN. That continues to go lower. Potentially 52-week lows incoming for TAN. And I've never seen this before, but shout out to Michael Noss. PBW, the clean energy ETF.
Oh.
Interesting ETF, but I mean, I've never traded it, never looked at it. What was up today, though, was wheat. Look at wheat here.
Why has wheat been so... I feel like Michael Noss keeps mentioning wheat.
Does he?
I've heard him mention it before.
Okay, well, with good news. I mean, look at this. Wheat starting to go to the upside here. The wheat fund. I don't know what this is all about, but hey, there it is. It's a nice move up. We saw cocoa upside as well, pulling back in. I don't know exactly what the symbol is, if there's an ETF for that, but that was upside. We also had the biggest sector that you're probably invested in out there, SMH, which of course is the semiconductor ETF led by big dogs today. NVIDIA up 1.5% today, holding out near highs as we get earnings Adara for NVIDIA coming through May 22nd. That's not next week. That's the week following. So we have some damage to be put through on NVIDIA coming up pretty soon. And then TSM, I believe NVIDIA pulls back. We could talk about that a little bit. TSM leads the way though today, up 4.3% on a good look from Taiwan Semi. Basically, if we want to look at some individual names, we could just do this real quick as we're talking about some sector recaps. Let's go like this and then have a quick look here and just talk about the broader market real quick. A lot of back and forth throughout the day. You saw me short the TQQs. So you're seeing a little bit of a mix here in technologies. Lower than expected. Michigan consumer confidence, 67 versus 76, helped us to the downside in and around 10 o'clock. Fed comments all day, Adara. We talked about that.
So many.
Fed's Bowman running his mouth. Kashkari coming through as well. A lot of different speakers coming through today. Kashkari spoke twice.
He did, and so did
He's so
Austin
nice.
Goolsby.
He spoke twice. That Goolsby guy has such a ghouly name. I'm always thinking hawkish over there. The weakest sector of the day, though, today. All right, that's enough. I mean, we could talk about energy. Where's my energy sector in here? Eli Lilly, P&G there. Well, some utilities down there with Nest coming down to the downside. Here's energy coming through. There's XOM. Not a green name here today in the energy sector. And if we look over here, here it is, UNG, that's natural gas, downside. USO, United States Oil Fund, downside as well. And then the services, downside. What's going on with my XLE here a little bit? We got a little bit out on the upside, but again, pretty chilled out with XLE. I like it being diversified. What does diversified mean?
Diversified means having your hands in different pies. So you're not just all in on NVIDIA or big tech. You've got a little bit of XLE. You've got a little bit of KRE. You have a couple different sectors, couple different names. So that if one name goes down, you've got some padding to protect yourself. Oh, yeah, it means being diverse, to quote the great Ramin. Yeah.
What does happy mean? To be happy.
I just enjoyed that time in there.
To be ebullient.
To be ebullient, which...
Cheerful.
Yeah, cheerful, looking forward, which apparently AMC is, according to its earnings goal.
All right, guys, get your questions in the chat immediately. We are about to do some Q&A, but first, before we do anything, Adara, why don't we look over some earnings plays? So we'll go over to next topic, and there it is right there, earnings. What I've mentioned on here is Reddit, Roblox, the one name, it keeps going, but you can't see it. I got to maybe get that font a little less. ARM. I thought ARM was an interesting one. They came in, it did push down there, Adara, into basically, I mean, we could go over, let me switch this up a little bit and go to a 3-minute chart if we can. Apparently not. Let me just go like this into 3 minutes right now and just have a quick look at ARM and see if we can zoom out. So it was a pretty bad report, kicking down about 8 or 9% as you and I were sitting here on the show. But remember, the expected move was about, I think it was 12, wasn't it? Or so, 13.6%. But then we only wound up the day minus 2.3%.
Yeah.
So what did the numbers look like on ARM? Because we battled all the way back, and it looks like we want to take out that 110. So where we were pre-earnings, 110-ish, we're right back there, Adara. What did those reports look like?
I will say one thing, a theme today is going to be expected moves that were much larger than the actual moves. So just to be kind of foreshadow that there. But yeah, the numbers themselves were not bad. EPS beat 36 cents versus 30 cents expected. Revenue, really nice revenue beat, 928 million versus 875.59 million expected. The issue here, though, is they did have the lower range, the lower end of their EPS and revenue guides fell below the estimates there. They also did get a price target decrease from Evercore ISI, though they did maintain an outperform rating. And the price target was decreased to $145, so still not bad, yeah.
So again, over 1 billion shares on the float of ARM, not too heavily shorted, but remember, we still do have that sort of soft bank position still, not just in question, but we weren't able to find anything out about what SoftBank and ARM were dealing with. And here we go, right back upside right now for ARM. So we'll see, trying to break through 110. I believe this is tomorrow's trade today. Like, I think next week we're definitely going to be looking at a 110 break of ARM, and that would be really nice if we could get that. All right, let's go over to RDDT. Look, a name for me that I've been looking at, and I'm not invested in it. I'm still not like in love with sort of the potential here of recent IPOs. There hasn't been too many that have been too successful. ARM would be a good example of one of those. And then Reddit, really, IPO down here at $47. We're not too far away from where that is, but 53. There's that big yellow candle on earnings for Reddit again. So came through, beat this level through $50, got as high as 54, so up about 10 or so % on Reddit. Just real quickly on that one, you'll have the numbers, but not making any money is Reddit. You can see down here the earnings per share missed down there, $8 minus per share. That's not great. But in this environment, especially with Reddit, they told us they're not making money. We know about that. You know the big interesting thing about Reddit is they were really pumping their position in Bitcoin when we heard about that for the first time, and Bitcoin happened to be around $70,000. Now with Bitcoin hitting down to 60,000, maybe potentially a hit coming for Reddit if they're going to be talking about holding on to Bitcoin. So anything that you saw interesting from their report?
Yeah, I think the thing with the report, the thing that I think might have led to them going higher, because as Sean just alluded to, that was an EPS miss.
Yeah.
Much wider than expected loss. They expected a loss of $6.97 per share, so that's already not great. We lost over $8 a share. So not a great look there. They did beat on revenue though, 242 versus 212 million expected, so not a bad look. And they also projected higher than expected for Q2. So their Q2 revenue range, they're seeing 240 to 255 million. The expected was 223 million, so that's a nice little guidance beat there. I would say the revenue, both the guidance and with the revenue they reported, probably helped them.
So yeah, good little look there on Reddit. Uber, of course, comes out on the 24th with their earnings, and we've seen a little bit of a miss here for Uber lately. But their EPS was minus 32 cents on Uber, and we were expecting an EPS beat, positive EPS. Their expected was 24 cents. This was a complete smack for Uber, where they wound up falling down here really nicely down to the downside again. Not a huge earnings move. They did battle back into that level, but for me, I'm a little nervous about Uber, because if we do have a weaker consumer, and remember what came through today, Michigan consumer sentiment was a huge miss. We were expecting 76 a dare and got 67 or something like that. Big miss for that side, down more than 10% on the miss. We don't normally see that. If the consumer's weak, I could also see Uber being weak. Remember, Uber Eats is a big part of this. Not huge, more about the drive, but Uber driving, I don't know, if less people have less money to spend out there, potentially we slow down on our expenditures for Uber. I still like the stock. I'm not super nervous about these robo-taxis. I think that is going to be a while. I know we always talk about it on the show, but that's way down the road.
That's
You
true.
know.
Yeah, I agree. Like Elon says August 8th, but that's not been really confirmed by anyone. That was, a date that was said. So we're going to have to wait and see how that happens. I will say too, with Uber, the CEO does seem to be hyping some of the non-car related things. So it could be, as you mentioned, Uber Eats, I think is a good look for this company. They had that Instacart related partnership
right.
coming up at the day before earnings. Also, the CEO said that the company's looking into paid member experiences and events, so that's certainly an interesting look. They also want Uber Eats to be embedded into apps. So I think they have some non-Uber related plans that could be interesting.
All right, I like all that. I think Uber Freight is a good possibility too. As we get bigger trucks, more efficiencies there, Uber Freight a possibility to go as well. Okay, couple more seconds, couple more minutes, get your questions in. Thanks, Bears vs. Bulls has already sent me a couple right now. All right, so in my opinion, the biggest surprise for me, and this is one that actually extended through its earnings expectation, and that would be Roblox. They got absolutely, like, with a big fail slapped right onto them. But the thing about them was the EPS minus 43 cents is a beat. They were expecting minus 53 cents. Revenue also higher. But the problem with Roblox was the guide. Now remember, Roblox stopped sharing monthly active user numbers. So we don't really have an idea of what they're looking forward to. Are users up or down? The guide was bad, Adara. Let's review what that guide was. But for right now, Roblox dipping back into that $30 level. But if we look at a chart, thank you, Fabian. We do have some support here at 30. And I feel like we might have missed that. Huge move back in for Roblox into $30. I feel like there's an opportunity to buy this, especially on day 3. So we're into day 3 on Monday. We'll find out if Roblox can hold 30 bucks. I feel like that's a buy. And you know what feelings I'm getting on this one? Honestly, it's meta feelings. Really? And what I mean by that is that, I know self-aware. No, the stock meta, all right, was that when it dipped down in here, we were like, you know what? This is going to be back to 470 before you can blink an eye. And it had one red day since earnings here. Let's zoom in. Well, I guess 2. So its third day, it did come back in. We talked about a third day. That was a buying opportunity. But then if you missed that, you're now up here $50+ from that move on the third day on Meta. $50 on a $420 name. Up 12% straight in the line for Meta. So I like Roblox down here. Everyone knows that it continues to get a piece of my monthly income. See you, Ramin. Have a great, fantastic weekend, and we'll check you on Monday. But I like Roblox here. I think it's worth a nibble in and around that $30 mark. How bad were those numbers?
Oh, they were bad. So the guidance, we mean. So Q2 bookings, revenue guidance. So this is what they guided, 870 million to 900 million. The expected or estimated guidance was going to be 934 million. So that is a massive miss. That's like a $70 million miss on the low side of that guidance. Full year 2024 booking guidance slightly better, 4 billion to 4.1 billion versus 4.19 billion expected, but that is still a miss. They also got a series of price target decreases, but we did have MoffettNathanson upgrade them. They still lowered the price target though, so not sure how a lot of analysts are feeling about Roblox with regards to strength. I do think though Sean showed that $30 support well.
All right. It's time. Hold on a second. Next topic. It's time. Let's go with Stock Blitz. We don't have a Q&A thing. Let's pretend that says Q&A. You know, this is something that we had where like people could just ask me whatever stocks they wanted.
Yeah, and you would like.
And then we would blitz it out. Yeah. It's kind of like there was something called Lightning Round. Someone named Jim Cramer does that. So, all right, I have a question for Darren. It's from AV, who is always in the chat. I have absolutely no idea what this means, but Bears vs. Bulls has clarified this. Question for Adara. What are the actual dark secrets of, she's laughing here, of Wind Gap? Is it from Sharp Objects by Flynn?
Yes, so this is a reference to Gillian Flynn's Sharp Objects, which I did mention last week. I'm not going to spoil the book. I will say the secrets are dark. There are a couple massive plot twists. And if you're not a reader, you can check out the miniseries HBO. It's a really faithful adaptation, also written by Gillian Flynn. But yeah, I would say pretty dark, really worth reading or watching, depending on what you're into.
So if you were on Rotten Tomatoes, you'd be giving this a?
I'd be giving this, I would say, the book I would be giving a 5. And I would probably give the show about a 94. Yeah.
A 5?
Out of 100. It's a really good book.
A 5 out of?
5.
Oh, 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay. No, because you went 5, but you said the book 5, and then you said the movie 9.
But I was trying to go like, Rotten Tomatoes versus like Goodreads.
I have no idea what Goodreads?
So Goodreads is a book ranking system. They go out of 5.
They go out of
Rotten
5.
Tomatoes
Got
goes out
it.
of 100.
Okay.
That's why I did that.
Great. Adara, I don't know if you want to give away your secrets here or not, but we have another question coming through right now from our guy Robert Liu here. And if you guys join the chat right now, hit the subscribe. I'm putting them all in here. Robert Liu says, do you play the lottery? And if so, we always talk about lucky numbers on the show. So I don't really have a specific number. I like 88. Like if I'm going to get out in front of a main level, I like 88. I like 12. So for some reason, just using 12 off of 100, 12 off of 100 the other way.
Yeah.
So I like 88s and 12s. My daughter wears 20 as an athlete, so I like that as a favorite number. But do you have a favorite number?
I do. It's 11.
11.
It is 11.
Story there or not really?
No, there's not really a story. I just found like a couple times I would like choose it, or it'd be like, names where you where they randomly assign you a number and it'd have 11 and it work out. I think one thing too is like, I know Sharif will sometimes say like there might be like a correlation with like birthdays and lucky numbers.
Yep.
I'm January 1st, so that's 1-1.
Okay.
That could be what the 11
There you
is.
go. That's what it is.
I do not play the lottery though, although I will occasionally get a scratch ticket if I'm feeling like it. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Are you a lottery person or?
Well, why is that so funny? No, I mean we're gambling every day, but
That's true.
no, not really. I'll get like that FOMO. So like when it's, like for example in the States they have Powerball. So if you get like $100 million in Powerball, or here we'll have Lotto Max. So sometimes if it gets up there, yeah, I'll throw 10 or 15 bucks in there. I like using the app, because then it's like, boom, buy it, just wake up the next morning, loser,
friend does
great.
that. Yeah.
And then you move on from that. All right, I thought there was a really good question. I just put it in there right now, and it's from Philippe Sousa. I need to understand how to build the sticky notes, don't we all? That levels. How does Sean go through this thought process and steps on making your levels? So again, a pretty good question, actually a great question to be honest with you. All right, so it all starts right here with the morning note. So we get a morning note from Trader TV Live. You just saw that ad, Fabian, right there. So what I do is I look at our watch list. And honestly, I wait for the watch list that comes out. And this is put together by yourself, everybody that works here, other than me, put this together. So I come in and I'm like, okay, what stocks potentially are we going to talk about? Because I feel like I want to have some ideas on stocks that we're doing on the show. And then, yeah, and you can show it on here, most of the stocks on here, Tesla's on there with an up 0.8%. So we'll read the story. Apple's on here as well. And then so what I'll do from there is, here's my sticky note for today, so we can just review this. I'll be real quick because I don't think people, they care about it. It's a great question, but you're going to see on there we had Google. I looked at 169. So once I have some ideas that I want to look at, then I try to figure out which direction I like the stock in general. So I think we always try to figure out directionally what we like, and then we're looking for some catalysts. So again, if I'm going to look at Google 169 just for an example, right there. So if we go over to a 20-minute chart, that's generally what I'll look at. Let's go 15 for this. So if I'm looking at this right here and I say to myself, all right, where's Google? It was a negative story early. Obviously, we get that news about ChatGPT not having search, so it makes it move all the way to the upside. But then I'm just kind of looking, and look at this level right here. This goes back, again, a couple days. There's 169. This bottom 169 has been holding. So I say to everybody that the area of interest on the sticky note for me is 169. So as the market opens up, we can start to see where some key levels will come into play. And looky, I mean, Adara, I did not make this up. That's written down 169. It's right here today on the sticky note. Google 169 shortstop, weak search issues with AI. We talked about that. That gets squashed at the end of the day. But look at this. This is 169 and this is today. Those are the highs of the day right here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we got blown out on the ups. We didn't take this short. We actually took the short at the top, as you know.
Yeah.
So it comes back in, and then there it is, 169 all day, every day there on Google. So we're looking for key levels. Another level that we got blown out today was AMD. Look at this, 152. It was all the way up here in the morning. We said, what about if it comes back into this support level? It did, and 152 was pretty key. So just looking for, thank you for the question, Felipe, there. I'm just looking for longer time frames and what could be some key levels associated with a stock in catalysts.
I like that.
So catalysts would not necessarily be earnings, more of a story with upgrades, downgrades, and then key levels to look at it's been working, and it's been working pretty good there for the sticky note. So again, thank you for the question. Just a couple more, because we told Fabian that we're not staying too late, but we are staying late for everybody. So let me go back in to the chat with Bears vs. Bulls and grab another one for you. Okay, some are more for me, All right, Adair, you have anything for me? But I have one more for you quickly. Here, this is a good question.
Okay.
I feel like it. Yeah, it's okay. It's a little private, but I don't think this is too busy.
No.
All right, Adara, how do you find time to read? When do you do that? Do you read on your commute like Neil? So I know the answer to your commute question. Not much reading probably happening there.
And the reason for that is because I walk everywhere.
Right.
I will only take public transit if I absolutely have to. I will marathon walk everywhere. If possible.
But I don't think you have too far of a walk.
No, it's a really close walk. Yeah,
okay.
But I just like walk like regardless of how far, unless it's like a gross distance, I'll walk. But the thing is too is I like to read more than I do currently. I'll be honest with that as well, because I do like fall asleep if I sit to read for too long. But I like reading like while doing laundry. If I do take public transit, also a lot of times too I like reading like essays. I'll just read those like while I'm cooking food or whatever, stuff like that, just to be aware, to be alert. But definitely I'm excited to have some more time to read books. I'm going up, as I mentioned, on the midday. I'm going out of town for the weekend, so hopefully getting some reading and writing done on that commute. Also, Sean, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay, so this actually has to do tangentially with the sticky note. So I know sometimes on the sticky note, you'll post videos with the sticky note, and it'll have a song in the background. How do you choose the sticky note song? Because there's some great songs on there. I know one time you had Nay Nah by 21 Savage, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this doing here? Is there a specific selection process for your sticky note songs?
Yeah, it's basically, we kind of just cherry pick on trending songs.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like kind of like whatever mood you're in. Maybe if there's a flow for the day. Yeah, but basically trying to catch some more, it's kind of to catch cheap views. Yeah. So if there's something trending, we'll put it out there. Me and you, we talk about this often. The only music I listen to really is hip hop. I mean, unfortunately, I get some Tay every once in a while in the car. I know you don't like that, some Tay. I say Tay because someone in our group chat, and it was a dad who said something like, oh, can we not get the girls? And it was for our hockey team, the chat. She's like, we have to limit the amount of Tay songs that are allowed to be played in the pregame warm-up.
I do not blame this mom.
I think it was a dad. So I wrote in the chat, never say Tay again. And that was the end of it. That was the end of that discussion. That's Taylor Swift. But yeah, so that's what I do. So we try to pick some hype songs.
I like that. No, that's cool. I just was curious because it's always a fun
Yeah,
line.
great question. Yeah, thanks for that. A big shout out to my wife who does do a lot of that for me on Instagram, putting those out because we'll all do the Twitter sticky note, and often because I'm here, she'll help out with that. So, all right, I feel like this is something that's relatively important. Someone asked me this, so I'm going to put this up in the chat right now. What sector am I most bullish on this month? Well, the month of May is almost over, but just to answer your question, I'm starting to get a little bullish, and you might have heard me talk a little bit about, not DLD, GLD. I'm actually pretty excited about gold. It's been not excited about it because I don't think you can get too excited about gold too much, but I really like this retracement back in there and holding in and around this 210, 215 area with gold starting to break out again back up to the upside. I just worry a little bit that if Bitcoin's going to come back into the downside, potentially the market could pull back heading into an election year. We're obviously there now. I feel like China might have something to say still about Taiwan. I don't feel like Israel and Palestine is necessarily done yet, unfortunately. More worries coming through as energy. We saw that was pretty weak today. Gold trying to hold up 1%. I'm just not convinced right now that we're in the best place that we need to be, both politically and economically in this world. So for me, I like a breakout in gold. If you go over to a weekly chart, we've been talking about this for a while. Breakout, we already broke out from here, looks really strong. I don't see really a bear case yet for gold, so let's see if we can break back out through the highs. I would say you could stay long this name until at least 210. I'm like to buy gold on dips and then really worry about it. Analyze what happens a couple months after election heading in. So this is more of a 6-month play. If you're just talking about current month, I always like to look at like beat up sectors and to think that maybe they can sort of come back a little bit. So we talked about utilities as they're getting higher and higher. So actually for this month, I was going to sort of cop out and maybe go with energy, trying to hold this 50-period moving average back in. So, you know, maybe they're not super sexy, but if you do want something that could really break out and you're positive here, you could always go back to either SOXL or SMH because the big dog is coming on May 22nd. And if NVIDIA does something, either announces a split, a huge buyback. We saw Apple with that 110 on the buyback. NVIDIA could talk about that. So let's see if they guide forward and blow out some of these numbers. I mean, that's a great sector to look at. So that's what I like. So great question. Thank you for that with only a couple more minutes left. All right. I think we don't have too much more to go. We could have a September rate cut that I just saw someone talk about. I think that could be negative for gold. So that's another thing. But if we keep talking about rate hikes, then I think gold goes higher. So that gives you a little bit of hedge against potentially your equity portfolio by buying a little bit of gold, dipping your toe into that. So, hey, it's been absolutely fantastic doing these Q&As. You have anything else for me?
Yeah, you know what? Because I know you were just talking about you really like rap, and I want to ask a question as well. Do you have a favorite rap song or artist that can be old school, new school? Because you and I haven't talked about music as much, I feel like.
I feel like the song that I've heard the most is Mo Money, Mo Problems. And that's, of course, Biggie, and then Mace. And P. Diddy.
It's a great trio.
Yeah. And this is going to be controversial, and I know some people like Kanye and don't like Kanye, but I like a lot of Kanye stuff. I mean, that Graduation album, like in his early days and stuff like that, like, and even just more stuff with Rihanna, All of the Lights, and just, you know, I like Jesus Walks.
Jesus Walks is a classic.
Yeah, I mean, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, back when I was in school, Dem songs were pretty hype. So I like all that kind of stuff. Illmatic.
I love that.
Yeah, it was written, stuff like that. So all of that, like I'm not as like hardcore into, like I like Wu-Tang and everything like that, but like 36 Chambers. But yeah, so that's what I like, some of that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, but yourself, we've already talked about this. You like K-Dot.
I love K-Dot. I also, though, I am a huge Kanye fan. And actually, my high school grad cake, because my parents were like, what do you want in the cake? I got the Kanye bear on the cookie.
There we go.
Like,
So there you go. So the graduation.
So I thought I love that album. It's a really good album. Yeah.
All right. Question from Ron. What keeps Sean going? He's always staying late. He's busy with life's stocks. How do I do it? You know, honestly, man, I'm going to start getting some wrinkles. I'm losing my hair. I'm doing all this kind of stuff. So I just do it with passion, honestly. Like, I actually have fun sitting here talking like this with you. I mean, I'm much relaxed. I feel like the ability to be able to do this show, and I've talked to traders all around the world, thousands of them, and hired them. That's another good song, yeah, all around the world. One of my favorite rock bands. So I talk about listening to mainly hip hop. I love Oasis.
Really?
So the Gallagher brothers, I love all that. So all around the world's another song by them, Supersonic, things like that. And when we were in Italy, we were actually in a bar, and they're playing music, and one of these dudes played Wonderwall for my daughter. And he said, Gia, you are my Wonderwall. I almost punched a guy in the face, but it was a great song, and that was really done really well. So anyways, great times there. I feel like I was in the middle of saying something and then I forget what it was.
We were just talking about
what keeps me going
around the world. Yeah, what keeps you going?
Yeah, no, just doing this for everybody, honestly. Yeah. I mean, you know, I like it. Not only that, it's like the funny thing about this was we used to not have a recap show on Friday.
Really? Oh, I guess, yeah, I knew this. I did know this.
Yeah, you should know this.
I was here.
And because we were doing the podcast.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know, now we're not doing the podcast on Fridays. We're going to be doing it. So I said to myself, great, I got Friday night off. You know, the market will close. I can finally get to go home.
Yeah.
Nope. You got to sit right back down and put some more content out, but I like doing it. I play off of that all the time. I was like, oh, I'm so busy, but I like doing it. Busyness is the spice of life, and especially when it involves your family. And on that note, I got to run home because we're going there for puck drop at 7 o'clock.
Oh,
I mean, we've got that going on there. Should be really fun. Here, look at this. last time, where's my, we got to go right now because Fabian's like, yo, you said that this is not going to be very long. You know what? You're lucky. I don't even think I logged into Twitter over here. So you're good to go, Fabian. I was just going to show last game. We were right there, right at the front. Haha, we did log in. We are logged in over here. So just quickly, I just want to show you. This was me last time. I don't know if you guys can see this. So here's the PWHL. They actually tweeted this out, full screen, right here. There I am, red hat. Right there, banging on the glass. So here we go. This was a sick goal. That's Emma Malte coming through right now. My daughter's right beside me somewhere. You can't see her, but she's right there. There's the goal, and we're pounding the glass. So we'll have a lot of fun there tonight. Look for me basically in those same seats. If you are there, 8,000 people should be a hell of a lot of fun. And then tomorrow is all about wedding time.
Oh yeah, the baller wedding.
So we have a hockey, my daughter has a hockey game at 11 o'clock in Mississauga. Then we're back here for hair and makeup, which not for me. And then off to the wedding, 5 p.m. Should be a heck of a lot of fun. Any plans this weekend for yourself?
Yeah, I'm going out to up north for the weekend to visit my friend. So yeah, leaving tonight. Have my suitcase here. It's not for a while, but yeah, excited to go. Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. You know, give the ones you love, no matter who it is, a big hug and a kiss for this weekend or just for the day.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for joining me and Adara at Trader TV. Sean, at Trader TV Adara, that is your handle, right?
That is my
Perfect.
Trader TV.
So go find us both all over socials. Thank you so much. We did not have a guest today, so I will make sure to 100% thank everybody that's watching and Mr. Bears vs. Bulls.
What about that last item though? Ramen and Fabian are amazing.
Ramen, I love
spell
ramen.
correctly.
Ramen is so good.
But yeah, Ramin and Fabian are amazing.
Oh,
'cause
Ramin,
that
yeah, she's pretty
certainly
good too.
Was an item on the rundown. So shout out to Ramin and Fabian, always killing it, all day, every day, working very hard. And also Ramin's name is just not spelled correctly there for some reason.
Right, and I just wanted to clear Ramin's name. I did not write that. She did. Oh, she did, okay. All right, thank you so much for watching. We got to get out of here. It's Friday. Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day. Ciao. All right, we done.
That was a cool ending shot of